Hey guys, Logan here at Most of the Superheroes. Just want to take a quick minute before today's episode to say thanks for watching. This is episode 10. I think it's our best looking sounding episode yet. And all to say there's a lot more to come. Hope you're enjoying the show. Reach out to us on mostlysuperheroes.com. Love to hear from you. This episode actually does open up with a deep dive of Doom Patrol Season 2. So full spoiler alert right now. Me and Andy will go through that, and then you'll see the rest of the episode when Mike joins us to talk through some news and DC stuff. Enjoy the episode, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Mostly Superheroes.
Which one
it doesn't matter. You can use either one.
Okay.
Hey guys, so not sure where this will be in your watch order, but Andy and I are going to talk about Doom Patrol real quick. We've both recently wrapped up season 2, right? And Mike, our friend Mike, is coming over, and he watches the show too, so we didn't want to spoil it for him.
A real spoiler alert.
A real spoiler alert, and also just a couple of friends doing the right thing.
That's true.
We were just like, you know what, we'll schedule around you, and he'll be here soon. But like I said, you might watch this after the episode starts, maybe before. We'll see. So you've seen it.
Yes.
First of all, hey, this is the first time we've seen each other today. But hey,
hi there.
Good to see
Thanks
you.
for having me, sir.
Yeah, welcome back. So you saw it. I just finished it 2 days ago. So just to set the stage a little bit, we're gonna just do a quick deep dive of this. It'll be not too long.
Shallow dive, maybe.
A shallow dive.
All those aren't really recommended at pools, but
yeah, we're not gonna go head first. we're gonna do like a feet first, mid-level pool dive.
Okay.
So not even a dive at all. Like more of maybe a jackknife.
Okay, I can do that. That's safe.
DC show. It was originally on DC Universe, and season 1 was all in there. I watched it when it was there. I paid that $7 a month for DC Universe. We're going to talk about more of that today. And then it was just recently switched over to HBO Max, which right now I believe it lives on both. So if you're a subscriber of either of those, you're going to be in good shape. So you can go watch that. But like we said, full spoiler alert. We're going to talk about really season 2 real quick. Just what happened in the season. Our biggest takeaway, the stuff we remember most. It's always a test.
And they got renewed for season 3.
And they just got renewed.
If that was on the agenda for later.
No, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to, like I said, this might mean that it comes first in the order. Dude, us podcasters, we get to pick and choose where this video goes. So it's like magic. So yeah, they just released the news that it's coming back for season 3. So just my take real quick. Is that all right? I liked it.
Yes,
again.
Sir.
I loved it.
It was fun. Just silly almost.
It's like the most ridiculous show, and they'll do anything.
There's multiple times while watching it that I thought, did I take acid and not know it? Like, this is like, how is this? Who comes up with this stuff?
What'd you ask me when you came in? You said, "Is this the one? Is this the season with the eating butts?" That's season 1, but still, like, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Yes.
So yeah, just to kind of just glimpse over season 1. Just the takeaway and kind of set up, if you don't know who this is, but just, I have a whole episode on Doom Patrol season 1. So if you don't know about it, there's a deep dive waiting for you. If you're like, oh, I wish he would have done one of those. Guess what? I did. But just for you, those that don't know, you're listening right now, you got ragtag superheroes and they're living in a DC world, a world where like Superman exists. But now this is like, imagine if Superman was like rated A, this superhero is rated like D-.
Yes.
Or maybe worse, maybe a full on F.
Debatable.
Right.
At
times. Sometimes they're really powerful but they're just, either way, they're like these ragtag people. They get collected by this guy, Niles Calder. Turns out in season 1, he's the reason that they all became these heroes in the first place, ruined their lives to test them to see if he could find immortality so that he could live as long as his daughter lives, that was the whole thing at the end of season 1. He said, as long as my daughter lives, and we meet Dorothy, his daughter, at the end of season 1. She's been kept in a underground bunker in the street of Danny, the living transgender street. So many things.
More ridiculous things.
So many things. He pulls her out, and apparently she's been in there as far as like we assume 70 to 100 years.
Yeah.
She doesn't age because that was his whole thing. I'm trying not to die. And then that's where season 1 basically ends.
Mm-hmm.
They have. Would you say that's pretty correct?
Oh yeah.
So that's like a 2-minute spiel on season 1. Season 2 drops you right back into where you left off. And man, I loved getting to know these characters all over again.
Yes.
Like they're the same.
They all have like great like backstories, and I think the show does a great job of kind of giving you more information as to their pasts while the show also progresses into like the plot and as it goes on each episode. I feel like it kind of hones in on 1 or 2 people per episode, and you just kind of learn more about them and go from there.
That's really at the core what it makes this show so great.
Yeah.
It's that, and that's the thing. A lot of shows try to do this, and we'll do like the flashback storyline. Like Lost is famous for that.
Oh yeah.
They they didn't invent the flashback, but like they definitely grabbed it and ran with it.
That's in my top 3 of all time. But
same.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll do something. We'll talk about it. Okay. Good thing we have a podcast to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Well, anyway, where were we? So season 2. So
characters.
Oh, the characters. So that's what's great about the show is that these guys, they do such a great job of telling you these individual stories in a way that you really do empathize and you really feel for them. Like it's called Doom Patrol. It's like a mopey show sometimes. I mean, it gets real dark, real effed up. But not to go. Sometimes I go like episode by episode, but just to breeze through. So we find out that his daughter Dorothy inherited the powers from her mother that we meet in season 1. She was the cave woman that Niles slept with, and they made a baby. And that baby is Dorothy, and that's why she looks like a monkey.
Just straight up hideous.
Just like
that was my biggest pet peeve of like the first five episodes. I was just like, I don't even want to look at this thing.
Wow! Oh my gosh, Andy, I was the opposite. I was like, whatever, this is cool.
But at the same time, I felt so bad for her.
Oh, so
like,
yeah.
She's just a sweet little girl, and
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I felt bad for her. She where could you go? Like, you can't go. Like, you gotta. But she also lives in a world where superheroes and things are real. So
yeah.
You could argue like the Joker's real, so if someone meets her, they might be like, "Well, you're not so bad." So we find out that she inherited. Remember the big polar bear with antlers in season 1?
Yes,
that was the cave woman.
Exactly.
She inherited this ability to do this. So we find out that not only can she do that, but she can conjure basically any imaginary friend, and she has like 6 of them. There's like a scary looking one with like light bulbs for eyes. She has a giant tarantula.
Yep.
She has.
I didn't like that one.
No, it was terrifying.
Yeah,
they put the money into that. That spider looked great.
Yeah, it did.
Great job.
Just popped up out of nowhere.
You get a budget from HBO. Things start. Remember episode 1 when they had the battle with the rats because they were still small?
Yeah.
They were still shrunk from season 1. And Clint is battling the rats every day. They're in a war.
Yep. He does not like rats, that's for sure.
So we find out about her powers. And there's this looming thing that Niles has sprinkled throughout the season to the Doom Patrol that I'm not going to be here to watch her forever. So I need you guys to do it. And you don't understand what comes with that. Well, coming to find out, really jumping ahead here. Because like I said, we're doing like a shallow dive. Coming to find out, as she's aging, there's one being inside of her that becomes so powerful that it could literally rip apart the earth. And for her, I think it could have been a number of things, but it came from like a nightmare she had or something. But it's the villain known as, which I looked it up, it is a comic, it's referenced throughout some comics, the Candlemaker. And he's the one whispering to her,
spooky ass dude.
Spooky ass dude.
That's the best way to describe it, I think.
He's always like, Dorothy, you're going to do what I say. And she's like, I don't want to. And he's like, you will. And I was like, man, this girl has this guy in her head all the time.
Yeah.
Well, to stop it, Niles' plan all along has been keep her as a little girl. And I was like, what does that mean? Like her mindset, like don't let her age like develop. No, it was like literally once she has her period, the end of the world's coming. She has her period for the first time. She doesn't know what happened, and because of this thing this like natural thing that's happened to her body, now this candle maker guy, creep guy, looks like a giant thing of wax. He's like what 20 feet tall,
Yeah.
scary ass dude. Went into Jane's body and killed a couple of her personalities. Like who even knew that
That's
could be done?
I was so confused when that happened. I was just like, is Jane gonna die? Is what? How does he even do that?
Like you're killing personalities inside of a body.
But I guess Cliff was in there too in the underworld.
The underground.
Okay.
Yeah, season 1.
Yeah.
Cliff gets to go to the underground.
Yeah. Throwback.
Go ahead.
But yeah, that was crazy. I think that was the end of an episode, and I was like, okay, I'm locked in this season now. Gotta see what happens.
Oh, after that
There's always
happened?
like that one moment where you're like, okay.
Yeah, because that all happened because Baby Doll, the personality that acts like a baby, and her like hit it off. They had like a teenager argument, but since they're both like powerful beings, there was like a massive battle in the
Yeah.
house. That was
Yep.
so crazy.
Yep.
A couple other things that happened this season before we just talk about the big finale. This is all straight from the head right now, but thankfully I just watched it, so I think it's kind of fresh.
Yes, thank God for you.
I mean, that's like whenever Mike was here the other day, and he was the only one that watched Project Power. We're like, well, you got to talk about it. Cliff reunites with his daughter. Long and short of it, that's what happens. Great, and it's awesome. I'm all for
Yeah.
it. I like that.
He needs something good in his life. He's had
Yeah.
such a terrible, dumb robot life. Like,
Oh, and when she's pregnant, and he's like gets to be a grandpa again. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for something tragic. I was like, she's gonna die. There's no way.
I think they did a good job of making him seem human, even though he's just a robot.
Yeah, I've decided that Brendan Fraser's doing this role so well, but I think this is not to be mean. I think it's because we can't see his face.
I know it just made me think like, what he hasn't had much of a career since like
George of the Jungle.
That's what I was gonna say too.
What about Blast from the
Those,
Past?
yeah. That's way. I mean, those were both like 15 plus years ago. Like, what is it? He does. His character was awesome too. Just like when he was a human, just
He's
almost
definitely
like another Ricky Bobby or something.
he is. He drives race cars. I love the flashbacks to it because he is kind of just like a moron.
Yeah.
But he is growing though, like as a person now that he's gonna live forever.
Yeah.
So then they bring out of Jane, switching characters for a minute, the big storyline here that happens. She was teased out in season 1. Her name is, it's not Madeline, it's
Oh geez.
you know who I'm talking about? The main person inside of Jane's body. I'm gonna forget it. She ends up being,
I'm terrible at names.
I'm usually pretty
Especially,
good.
like,
I'm
once the
usually
show's off,
I
I'm
should
like-
know this. It's like Carolyn or Madeline. I think it might be Madeline. The reason it's throwing me off though is because there's a Madeline. Miranda.
Boom.
Good job, dude. Did you just look that up?
I told you I was reading the recaps on the way here.
So Miranda is the person that's inside of Jane that we heard disappeared. She fell into the well in season 1. There's that well. And it's like, that's where the dad lives or something. That's the dad that like beat up that Kay when she's a kid. Kay is the person that all of the personalities are protecting. There's this one personality called, what's her name again?
Miranda.
I can't hold on to that. Miranda with an M. Got it. Miranda. Miranda. She fell in the well. Well, she's back in this season, and she's here to help. She's got everybody's vote because she came back to life. She promises to bring these 2 people that were just killed by the candlestick maker by throwing them in the well. She doesn't, and they're like, what's going on? Turns out, really zipping past this because they really drug this story out. I don't say drug it out. It's not this. So this season had to end filming early. So some of the storylines get cut a little short. This is one of them. She ended up being the person that was behind killing some of the personalities inside of Kay's body, Jane's body. Turns out it wasn't her at all. It was the dad somehow.
Yeah.
Or like that guy. I assume it's like Kay's father.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's been pretty clear, but what? So this guy lives inside of them as what? Like as a ghost? Like as a as a brain, as a figment of their
I think
imagination.
there's like a deep metaphor there that I just can't connect because
It's probably the
my
same.
brain's too tiny.
You know what it is? It's probably the same as anything else. All of them were born out of like a need or because of something. I'm guessing, like you just said, it's like a demon or something that was born out of like a demon that
Mhm.
Kay has, and like it's such a confusing storyline.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm sure we would have found out more if, or maybe we will in season 3.
We will for
Um,
sure. I think the finale was going to wrap that up,
yeah,
and
just I don't know
and
how
it didn't
many.
get the chance to.
I don't know how many episodes that they intended to have the season. It ended with 9.
They end up with 9.
Season 1 had
It would have
15.
been. It would have been 10. I bet. HBO kind of basic stuff. I mean, I don't know if they had any say in how many episodes, how early they started writing season 2, all that.
Yeah.
So turns out that dad's going to do something. That's where that storyline ends. Cyborg, he fell in love with this chick. She ended up being a terrorist.
He hurt his dad.
He hurt his dad. Well, that was season 1.
Oh God, man,
It's
everything's
okay.
running together.
It's all right.
I
No,
binged,
he's
I
so,
binged these hard,
and he's real. Yeah, you did, because that's like all close together. No, he did in season 1, and he's still reeling from that for sure. He talks about it in the season.
Yep.
So we'll find out more about that chick, that she's like a terrorist, and he got his heart broken. Rita has been just trying to master her powers and be a superhero, and she kind of failed. So we'll see what happens.
Yes.
I like her a lot. Love her character.
Yeah, I agree. I think I didn't so much in season 1. I was just like,
She's coming into her own.
What are you? Just a blob? That's gross.
She's trying though.
But yeah, she's trying to turn it into a positive. So
Larry Trainer, he is the negative spirit. Coolest thing that happened in this season, and it looks like it's foreshadowed what will maybe happen. Which, if they do this, I hope they take us with him and they don't write him off the show or something. They meet those 3 people from outer space that have been gone for like 50 years that Niles hired.
Yep. Out of nowhere, like
the best
like,
episode. Those 2 guys, Skip and Charlie. I'll just call him. It's not what it was. It was Skip and something.
Yeah.
And all they say is like those 3 phrases. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Skip Taylor. I'm now the #1 pilot, and I'm not scared of anything." And then the other guy's like, "Except for marriage." and they're sitting there talking, and Larry's like, "So tell me about where you guys came from." And out of nowhere, the guy slaps the other guy's butt and goes, "You old dog!" and chases him through the house. And they're just running around going, "You old dog!
Yep.
You old dog!"
There's definitely certain moments of this show where I was just like, "Oh, can't wait to discuss this on the pod."
Turns out they had some alien in them. Those guys actually died. They buried them, but the chick had a negative spirit in her also. So that was the coolest thing that happened in the season. We find out there's another one.
Yep.
And that they mastered being with each other in 5 years. Larry's been with his spirit for 60 years. And they are the furthest thing from simpatico.
Yep.
So she recommends going to space. So that's when I said, and he thinks about it. In the last 2 episodes, they acknowledge the fact that he's like, maybe space is where we should be. Because so far they've just tried being human. And it's not, I mean, being human's complicated. So like if you can go to space and you rely more on the spirit to live and stuff, I think that's what they're leading us to believe. So we'll see what happens with those 2. I'm just rambling, so you jump in if you got something to say.
I will.
All right, big finale here. We'll just wrap this up. We covered all the major characters. Yeah. Niles is dying. He's not living forever anymore. He had some kind of stone around his neck. He gave it away. I forgot to mention that, but that's happening. He's slowly dying, and it's coming to a head at the end here. He's coughing and blood.
Up. Yeah, he was.
Exactly.
I thought he was dead. He was goner a couple times in that episode.
Oh, I know, many times. His plan at the end, it all goes to shit. The Doom Patrol shows up. Candlemaker's coming out because she's become a woman.
Yeah, that scene was kind of disturbing when she goes out and into the bathroom, and the woman's like,
that woman
need help, young lady, and
that woman was a saint. That one was the nicest lady in the whole world. She explained it perfectly, and I was like, man, that's probably exactly what she needed to hear. I bet.
I mean, she's like, you need help, young lady? She's just like, nope, just
brought her new underwear, new pads, and all that.
I'll take a tampon, please.
Seriously. And she was like, should you tell your dad? She just said no.
Yeah, that's.
Mike's here. You might want to go upstairs. We're getting ready to see the big finale.
just real quick. So the big finale. Mike's here. We got to wrap this up.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, Mike. You run upstairs real quick. Candle maker waxes everything. The whole Doom Patrol explodes Cliff into a million pieces. Niles on the ground. His last plan is to put this poison in her to kill her because he thinks that's the only way. The mom shows up, the ghost. She has boots that she hands to her daughter, Dorothy. And she says, you know what you have to do. She puts them on. She goes to hand her a weapon. I got goosebumps on this part. I'm getting them right now. And she said, I can make my own weapon. And she makes it out of thin air. And the candlestick maker grabs her, pulls it into his chest. They vanish in a fireball. And that's how season 2 ends.
I was so pissed.
Yeah. Just got goosebumps. That was a good episode.
Yeah, until I realized that it was delayed because of COVID and
yeah,
so it's not the intended ending, but
we mentioned that. So the story there is, just to highlight it, they would have probably had 10 episodes. That when they were wrapping up filming, they were like in the process of wrapping up episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we got. They said they did their best, and I mean, it's a good cliffhanger, but it's a cliffhanger.
Yes,
it's like the biggest cliffhanger.
I just hate waiting. Like we don't even know when the season can start filming. All that. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, you're right. Gotta be realistic too.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's get back to talking to us about some other stuff. But thanks for talking about Doom Patrol with us.
Yes, sir. That was fun.
We can't wait for season 3.
Me too.
Go DC.
TBD whenever that'll happen, but
still, I'll be excited.
I think they killed it. It's like a show that we always talk about, the CW shows. There's so many seasons, so many episodes that you wouldn't really recommend somebody starting fresh. Like this is a show that
you
should
watch.
Could start right now. 24 episodes that you could do that in a week.
And here's the thing: you don't even need to know a thing.
I think that's the best. One of the best parts about the show is going into this, nobody knew.
Like you don't need to know anything about DC even. Like you don't have to be a DC fan. It just lives within the DC universe. So if anything, it might just get you to be like more interested in DC stuff.
Correct. And then it's technically now in the same actual universe as those CW shows,
which they've
Crisis on
Infinite Earths. That's right, Crisis on Infinite Earths. They showed the Doom Patrol at the end of that, so they are part of this multiverse. They're on HBO, where the Justice League Snyder Cut's going to live. Anything could happen. Anything.
Do it.
All right, Doom Patrol. Keep making your stuff. We love it, and we'll keep talking about it if you keep pumping it out. Thanks for our great show.
Agreed.
All right, we'll be right back on Most of Superheroes. Yeah! You wanted it, you got it.
Produced by Hans Zimmer.
I need to say who actually made it and make sure I give him some good credit.
That's a good call.
I bought it, but like, I believe in artists, so I need to give him kudos. That's a jam.
It is.
I mean, it's a hype jam.
Hold on, wait, I can't hear you. Try it now.
It's a hype jam.
There he is. I'm Logan. Welcome to Mostly Superheroes. Back with me for episode 10, guys.
Double dig.
Mike and Andy.
Good to be here. Thank you, sir.
I mean, I leave and I just keep coming back. I can't quit. So
it's addicting.
Can't even count how many I've been on. So.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I mean, when you pump out what we're going to talk about and I see it and I get excited, like I dropped everything I did and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch. I'll leave it to what's coming, but I'm going to watch this. And it was like fanboying out. Like I was texting you guys and I went down a rabbit hole and I was like looking at old stuff. I was like, man, this is going to be fun.
I mean, the list of stuff we have for today is crazy. it's gonna be a little DC heavy, but also the more I went through news, there's so much happened just in the last 7 days.
It doesn't stop.
You did say the content creates itself.
What do you think's? But isn't it strange that like of all the things that's happening in the world, like DC's like, no, we're having that convention, and we're gonna get 22 million people to go. Like, I don't know how many went the second time around.
I would guess about half.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I mean, I don't know. I got on the site this time and I didn't last time.
True.
I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. Usually, other Mike is there, and as we know, he's like me. He's got that booming. You're more of a, I don't know.
Capes.
Well, we have so much to cover. I say we just dive in.
Let's do it.
We just talked about Doom Patrol. Thank you for giving us the extra 20 minutes to do that. We almost ruined it for you as you walked in.
I walked in and I was like, whoop, and I just like Homer Simpson gift in the bushes out. Like, but no, I did watch the first episode.
What do you think so far?
So far, I didn't do any research. I mean, I knew some characters were in there, and then I didn't do any research. And I started watching. I was like, "What in the world am I watching? It's like a tornado of what?" And I was like, "It's gonna be like this." I kind of thought it was like a kid show, because is there like a, I don't know, is there a kid show where they're like Justice League, small Justice League or something, like
Well,
cartoons?
We're gonna talk about it.
And then I was like, I was watching. I was like, well, Brendan Fraser, he's not. This isn't for kids.
Oh yeah, that is the first episode.
This isn't for children.
He's
at
just
all.
going to town on his maid. I think
Yeah.
that's not kid friendly.
And then he pops down. He's like, "Oh, nothing happened." And then he's racing his car.
Oh, shit, there's a titty.
His wife is like hanging out with his crew chief, and is like, "I'm with him now." And he's like, "Oh," and then he doesn't wreck.
No, I'm really glad that you are saying all this because this is stuff from season 1 that we didn't cover at all. So it was just like it's even taking us back further, and I love remembering those moments because I remember seeing like Brendan Fraser, like fucking that maid,
Yeah.
like he's really doing it, and I was like, this is not a kid
That was
show.
the first 7 minutes in. And I'm like, "What is
Yeah.
going on?" And then they jump to somewhere else. I was like, but then towards the end, I started like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on here a little bit." But that's good. I mean, it's entertaining.
I mean, you're to where at least where he's a robot.
Yeah.
You've got that
Yeah.
far. The one thing I said about Brendan Fraser was, and this isn't spoiler related at all, was just I think what I figured out about it, why this is working so well, is that it's because I can't see his face most of the time. Sorry, listeners, you had to hear that joke twice, but I needed Mike to hear it.
Yeah, you can't, and you can't see the other guy's face. It's all wrapped up either.
It's true.
If you're
That guy's
You can't see hardly any of
Hey, if
them.
you're an ugly actor, sign up for this show because they're probably going to wrap you in something.
oh, Matt Bomer's a great looking dude. He's from St. Louis. Give him credit.
That's so good. It's like, but I'm not that good looking. They're like, it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
We can cover you with
You're either going to
anything.
turn into a blob, we're going to wrap you in gauze, or you're a big robot.
If we haven't teased you enough to watch Doom Patrol, what more do you need? Go check that show out.
I mean, and it's because when we were texting and stuff, you're like, "Hey, we're going to talk about Doom Patrol," and I looked at how many episodes. I thought, you know what, 8 episodes. I cranked out The Boys pretty quick. There's 15 episodes in season 1, and I don't know how many's in season 2.
And it's
9. Much
it's a
easier.
lot.
It's an hour. It's a solid hour. It's not like a network TV show hour that's really like 44 minutes. It's a solid hour.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all the way full hour. And I remember like as I got to episode 8, I thought on season 1, I was like, how are they gonna wrap this up? They only got 2 to go, and then I looked and I was like, there are 7 to go.
I did the same exact thing.
And I don't know if you guys talked about this show's going to be long, but I don't know if you guys talked about it. First aired on like a DC platform or something.
Yeah, so it started on DC Universe. That's why I said I paid that $7 a month.
Okay.
Listeners are like, we just heard all this, Logan. I'm like, I know. I'm telling Mike about it.
I'm
He's new to Doom Patrol. So yeah, it started on DC Universe. Now it's on HBO
HBO
Max.
Okay.
And now that's what we were saying. It's part of all this.
Yeah. Okay.
We got a slide for it.
Awesome.
Without spoiling season 2, I made sure to.
No, but I watched episode 1 and it hooked me. So if you're looking for something out there to just kind of jump into, and it's a good show to kind of pop in, pop out. You don't have to like take notes
Mhm.
and like, oh, what's going on, and like putting stuff together yet. But I mean, it's enjoyable so far.
Yeah, and also
Don't have kids around, but it's enjoyable.
I do deep dives in this show, and him and I recalled I was pretty impressed with myself. But I think it's
You
because the
killed it.
show's good.
Yeah.
it's like it has a good storyline that you sink your teeth into, so it's easy for you to recall.
Yeah.
So, all right, I have some news to get through. Some slides, obviously. We'll start with those, and then we're gonna talk about DC heavy stuff today. Said this on my last episode. DC's been again doing DC fandom, all this stuff. Marvel's been a little quiet. I want to talk about more Marvel stuff. There's not a lot in here today, but I'm telling you, it's because there's just not that much news. Trust me, no one wants to talk about it more than me. So here we go. If you guys are ready, let's just start in with the latest Mandalorian trailer dropped today.
I love that smile.
We just stare at each other. Andy's got the perfect shirt on today for it. Look at that. Got Baby Yoda. Nice. And it's a Steelers shirt also.
Yes.
So you're a Steelers fan.
Yes, I am.
I'm,
And Baby Yoda as well.
I'm guessing they played this weekend.
They played it last night.
And
Crushed the Giants. So this is very timely. I couldn't believe
1 by
this
11, he
trailer-
said. He said 1 by 11.
they did. I
That's
think
not quite a
somewhere-
crush.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, football scores.
Yeah.
All right, go Steelers. That's cool.
Yes, thank you.
Our friend Will Compton on the Titans. Looks like they won. Go
He had a
Titans.
big tackle too. Go
You know,
line stand.
Yes,
Goal
he
line
did.
stand. Saw that on Instagram. The game was late. It was like 9:20.
I watched the first quarter and I was like, I can't even do this.
Yeah.
My gosh, I didn't like. It's the same as what was happening with other sports. Just really late games.
And I'm a big proponent of Central Time Zone. I think it's probably the best. But they keep pumping out these late games.
Yeah, it was only for this week though, because they tried to fit 2 Monday Night Football games in the opening.
So it
Weekend
won't
always-
be. So it won't be
It'll
for
always
everything.
be 7 to 10 or 9:30.
Oh, okay. Well,
going
yeah.
forward.
Bring that back. Well,
Yeah.
we're watching 9:30.
no
I'm
worries.
crawling into bed, folks.
Yeah.
First reaction. This show, the season 2 looks amazing. Mandalorian. Full spoilers. If we might end up talking about season 1 here for a minute. Full spoiler alert. Season 2's dropping October 30th. The trailer just dropped today on September 15th, and it suited the season and got me excited.
Yes. If there was any doubts if I was gonna rewatch season 1, I'm definitely gonna do that after watching the trailer. It's like perfect hype. Like they didn't reveal a lot, just kind of made you kind of ask questions of what this is going to be about. And then October 30th, I'll be here and I'll watch it in 1 hour, and then I'll be like, God damn it, I gotta wait a whole nother week now.
Exactly. What we're going through with the boys at the moment. Weekly drops.
Correct.
Frustrating.
It is.
What'd you think, Mike?
I mean, just as a person that has watched Star Wars but not like ingrained myself into the realm, it's entertaining. It's a good show to watch. You don't really, if you have the background knowledge, it helps. But if you don't have the background knowledge, you can still watch it and still
Yep.
enjoy it. I thought this trailer I thought it was entertaining too and great because it made me want to watch. Like, oh, the Jedis, I don't know what they're doing. Like, what in the world? Oh, there's a TIE fighter and stuff. I know what those are.
Mhm.
And it started to kind of get me like, what in the world is going to happen in this season? Because I think the first season's kind of like Batman Begins-ish, like a little backstory, like how did we get here? And now this season might be the Dark Knight.
Whoa.
That's a really bold statement, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, I get overly excited about stuff, and I say stuff's good, but here's the truth, guys. If something's bad, I'm going to tell you. This show, this season 1, it was some of the best TV I'd ever seen. Like the story, we talked about it a little bit, I think one day when you guys were here. The story of this guy, and when it takes place in the Star Wars universe, what is it, 5 years after the Empire has fallen, right?
I think so.
That's when I believe the show takes place, which means, like, Luke Skywalker's alive, and like Leia, and like Han Solo, and I mean, I don't want to get too excited, but like the way Jon Favreau, because he's like at the helm of this thing, is doing this show and telling the story. I mean, they could go anywhere they want, and now they're gonna go to, it sounds like Baby Yoda's home planet. I forgot about that, and then they reminded me. Like, that's the whole thing. You got to take this Baby Yoda to its planet. What's that going to be like?
If I have to see a whole planet full of them,
Of Yodas?
I'm gonna cry.
I think a lot of people will cry.
Teenage Yoda, like rebelling against, like, I'm not doing this.
He's got like a yo-yo. He's
Yeah.
like bubble gum. Not old enough to smoke.
Pop rocks. Don't pop rocks at him. Get out of here. Yes, get.
Oh yeah, give me Teenage Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh man, Be as good as a teenage Groot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
I only watched it the once. You probably can't even see it really in here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can probably see it. I tried to
Nice.
sneak in that photo that you texted me. Could you guys give
Oh,
us
yeah.
the
I see that.
what's going on with this actress?
oh, that's
here?
a WWE superstar Sasha Banks making a guest appearance. Didn't expect when you hear somebody like that isn't like an actor full time. I guess wrestling kind of is acting because they're really just athletic actors, but whatever.
But it's different. I
Um,
mean, it's fair to say it's a different profession. It's a whole different
Yeah.
style, and like this is. But she's been in other stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Not that I know of.
Maybe like bit parts. Like
advertisements.
She
and
looks
stuff like that.
familiar.
Yeah. Oh, she's a babe, but yeah, she just
We don't know who she is, right?
right. That's the big thing is I some of my friends were speculating on who it was, and I was like, that's far beyond my Star Wars knowledge to be able to.
we have a friend for that. His name's Jake. He is going to come on. Today's not like a Star Wars deep dive. We're gonna do a Star Wars episode. Let me just get out of the way now. I'll just say it. We're doing a Star Wars episode, and it's coming up soon. Just prepare yourselves. And
Okay.
also, if you're listening and you got content to share and you want to talk about Star Wars land, send it to us, and you can do that at mostlysuperheroes.com. Why don't you just go write us a line about what you love most about Star Wars and what you want to hear about? Because I'm gonna have to put together an agenda, and I also don't have an in-depth knowledge. I mean, I've
Right.
seen them all, but I didn't watch the
Yeah,
Clone
same.
Wars.
But then there's Clone Wars. There's the TV shows and all that. My buddy Jake texted me, and he said, "Is it Sabine Wren?
Sounds right.
Something like that. That's who she might be." And apparently, she's very big in not the films, but the Clone Wars type of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Because Jake sent us the picture
Yeah.
of her. It's with the.
Yeah.
Is that the character with the long hair thing?
Which makes sense.
All right,
She has-
we'll throw up a shot of this Clone Wars thing. Logan, put that up. That's me telling future me. It really works because I'll be like, oh, I'm like eating pasta. I'm like, oh,
yeah. As a wrestling fan, I hope she has a huge part in it. I just didn't expect to see her in the trailer right away. Like she was like the first person besides Mandalorian that you could see.
Yeah, and they were talking about the Jedis, and she like did the little hood thing. I was like, I didn't even recognize it until you said something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I had to go back and like, oh, yep, that's her.
Carrie and I decided we're gonna rewatch this. Obviously, soon. This is coming October 30th.
Definitely.
I need to because I'm trying to think of exactly what happened at the end. If I remember correctly, his helmet came off at the end, and also there was a black lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I remember the most.
Gus Fring.
Yeah.
He's like a Sith Lord.
He was a great
But he wasn't
great
even in
actor for that.
and
At
he
first
wasn't
I was
even in the
skeptical, but I was like, this guy killed it. He's just a great
He's
villain.
also in The Boys.
Yeah.
As the head of the major corporation. Like this guy, and he was the bad guy in Breaking Bad. Top 3 TV shows for me of all time.
Wow.
Said it.
I'm-
Quote me.
We could do
I won't
Breaking
disagree.
Pod too.
We could do a whole thing. There's
We
a,
already talked about Lost.
you know,
Breaking
this is a great
Bad.
time for me to plug a fellow podcast that I have been talking with a little bit. This is not an ad, by the way, but it's going to sound like one. There's this great company called Audrey. Their whole thing is connecting podcasters. There's a show on there called Breaking Bits. It's a comedy podcast about like the insight from comedians by comedians.
It's pretty cool.
Cool stuff. We'd had a little bit of dialogue. I go check them out. They're called Breaking Bits, and they've taken like that branding of the
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. I had to mention it now. Like if not now, then when?
I
It's
like
a perfect segue.
Perfect segue. I'll read your ads. Just if you got a product you're trying to sell, I'll do it.
MostlySuperheroes.com for contact info.
That's right. Okay, so anyway.
But
How-
Gus Fring wasn't in the
Oh, yeah,
trailer.
Gus
correct?
Fring.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
but-
in the trailer, right?
I didn't see him in the trailer.
I didn't either.
I don't know what his character's name is.
Jedi guy.
I'm sure his name's not Gus in the Star Wars universe, but
It's probably like something like Valbidian or something.
yeah, that's a good
That's
guess.
Good Star Wars name, right?
Yeah, that was your username on MSN Messenger, wasn't it?
No.
That's why you came up with it so quick.
MSN Messenger, I was Cool Janice 89.
Oh man.
And that's the year I was
Were you
born.
real-
And
Were you real cool and put beers, like little beer emojis after your name?
yeah, all the like as long as you could.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mandalorian's coming, guys, October 30th. So thrilled to see where they go with this. And a good segue To get you ready, this is from comicbook.com. I don't think the last image was from Star Wars on YouTube. There's a Baby Yoda toaster.
I mean, marketing machine. I mean, that's they just print money.
Yeah.
Now. They just print money.
They were not prepared though for like him to blow up. I feel like during season 1.
How could you not?
They-
How did the person that wrote it go?
they had
like,
nothing.
We're gonna make billions
They should have had
on toy sales.
stuffed Baby Yodas by the billions ready to sell. But I went to Disneyland
Should they have though?
during the first season, and there was nothing. I was like, I'll get a Baby Yoda something to bring home to my
Well,
girlfriend at
now
the time.
you can make
Nope.
Baby Yoda in your toast.
I love it.
I mean, it's a conversation piece at least.
Oh, I'm not gonna buy one.
I mean, you do brunch a lot. That'd be a cool little brunch.
We are in need of a toaster.
I'd feel bad biting Baby Yoda's head.
All right, I'll
He's
be
too
honest.
cute to eat.
I needed you guys. I need to gauge you guys on. Say that I need to buy this because I'm gonna talk to Carrie about it.
I mean,
Well-
you do brunch. I mean, I see your snaps.
Toasters are usually good wedding presents, so
Put it on the registry.
you may just have to wait, sir.
Not if I bump up the wedding to like tomorrow.
Logan, why is 85% of the wedding registry superhero toys? Well,
We started this podcast. Hey, could you hand me one of those beers?
Heck yeah.
One of those Busch Lights in there. Thanks.
teamwork.
Okay, so there's a superhero. There's a Baby Yoda toaster out there. We got an image. If you're wanting to see it and you're listening in your car or something, just head over to our YouTube channel. You can see a nice photo. Same universe, and this just gets me even more excited. Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I mean, he's definitely a highlight of those first 3 films, those prequel films.
So I read a little bit about this today. And so, first of all, this is coming out, I think, in spring of next year or something. Or like, they said like June.
We'll see.
How?
That's
I mean, everything's pushed guaranteed like 2 months back, it feels like.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But this is from Digital Spy, by the way. A quote from ewanmcgregor that said he is more excited about this than he ever was for the prequels. Just based on what he knows.
That's a bold statement.
Like, and he's speaking from his perspective. Can you imagine how ewanmcgregor felt when he actually got casted for those? Like, he's a big actor. He could have always done it. He's amazing.
I mean, that I remember those prequels when we were in grade school coming out. It was a marketing machine. Taco Bell toys everywhere. Those little race runner things were everywhere. They had a N64 game, didn't they? With the
Oh,
it was like a racing.
Yeah, the
with-
pod
Oh,
racers.
man, that was one of the best games
It's the
ever.
best, one of the best
Yeah.
games of all time. Like, I not like you guys know, I'm not a huge gamer. That was one of the few games that I really, really loved.
So him saying this, this is the first I've heard. I mean, that's insane. But maybe he's seen what the Mandalorian did, and he's excited for the writing. The writing's changed probably a little bit. It's not Jar Jar Binks stuff, and it's maybe a little darker and a little more gritty. So maybe that's what's got him excited.
Well, and he also said another thing that's got him excited. He said a lot of that, and he also said it's exciting for him because he's closer to big Star Wars fans are going to kill me for this. I don't know the actor that plays the original Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original movies.
Mhm.
Please let me know and call me out for not knowing. I feel like that is something you should know. Yeah,
Why are you looking at me?
You brought the computer.
Well, now you really put me on the spot that first time I did it. Now I'm like, if I don't bring the
Oh my! You don't have to bring it.
well, I brought it.
I never want you to feel like you have to do anything you don't want on this show.
No, it's good.
But you just might not be invited back.
Yeah, but I'll think about it. And, remember ewanmcgregor in Big Fish?
Yeah, Big Fish is awesome.
Remember every time we'd hang out back in Bonterre, we'd like do sleepovers at my parents' house. I'd always put Big Fish on at the end of the night. Like when Mike would stay over with the boys would come over and stay up late. That was a movie I always put on like before we went to sleep.
Never even seen it.
It's an interesting movie. It's like a Tim Burton film, I believe. So
Yeah.
He was good in the Harley Quinn movie. Is the Black Mask?
I haven't seen Birds of Prey yet.
You should.
Should I watch it?
Yeah, it's
But,
worth, it's worth a watch.
He's doing this.
It's kind of like, it is kind of like
I'm sorry.
like the Suicide Squad and those. It's where it's like you want it to be great, but it's not. But it's still worth a watch.
Yeah, I asked that. Like, I have full intentions of watching it. Just haven't yet.
Yeah. It's on HBO Max, I think. So
Alec Guinness is the first one's name. The first Obi-Wan.
Thank you, Mike. And moving forward, don't look up anything
Nope,
you don't
I'm on it.
We got the tech guy back. You're good at it. You're really good at it. I think you should consider hosting your own podcast. I feel like you're so good. You've got the mindset down of like when to look up the news. I feel like that's like half of podcasting.
I mean, when I care so much about this one, why would I get another one?
That's it.
With this crew, this
Why-
tripod.
I already went like grass is already greener.
Yeah.
Anything else on this show? I don't really know much else about it other than
Does anyone know the time period that it happens?
well, that's the thing. He's closer to his age, so this is gonna. So he dies in the first one, in New Hope.
Yep.
Yeah, he dies in A New Hope. We know Star Wars a little bit here. Come on, guys.
I took a shot. I said 2.
Yeah. It was a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
He dies in A New Hope, and Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Empire. So this movie would have to be pre A New Hope, unless he's playing Jedi Ghost.
Yeah. No, I've heard rumors that Hayden Christensen might make an appearance.
Heard that
would
too.
be cool.
That would be cool.
What else is he doing with his life? I don't know. Probably not a lot. I haven't seen him in many movies lately.
You think they'll just make us rewatch that scene where he kills all those kids?
I hope so.
Remember
I hope
that?
not.
There's so many memes and stuff about
Yeah.
that on Reddit and stuff. It's so.
He went from just being kind of upset to being like, I'm gonna kill every kid
Hey, honey, where you been? I just killed a bunch of kids. Like, what?
in a church. In a church.
A real heel turn right there.
Well, I'm excited for it. Anything else on Star Wars before we move along? Mandalorian, October 30th. We are here for it. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so grateful.
Yes.
Like in
Something
a
to
time
watch.
of like needing content, and this show's around the corner, and it looks as good as ever. It looked like one of the Star Wars films that we've seen in the last 10 years. Like, it looked that good. Them flying in space.
Can't wait.
They're not holding back with budget. Like, it looks legit.
No, I mean, it really does. And I'm excited to see the story how it continues and kind of his story. Because I think even though you really don't know much about him, like, he's one of those characters you're rooting for. And I don't know about I don't know. Me being kind of a noob when it comes to Star Wars stuff, I'm like, is he a good guy? Is the Jedi's bad in this? Like,
That's why the show's good,
Yeah.
because everyone's trying to figure that out. You know, he's bounty hunter, worked for basically the bad guy. Bad guy doesn't do a thing anymore. So what do you do? Yeah, I agree. All right, well, we're here for it. Moving on to some other news. One of the few MCU bits we have today. It's exciting. Ant-Man 3. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I'm excited about news. Anytime there's news, I'm excited. I still don't know what's going on with this MCU schedule. Like, there were supposed to be shows in August all the way through December, and I just haven't heard anything. I commented on a post about this on Facebook, and a guy named Billy, I wrote on the comment, I said, does anybody know when these shows are coming on? I haven't heard about Falcon and Winter Soldier in a while. I just put a comment out on the internet to see who would answer it. Well, this guy named Billy said he thinks 2021.
Billy.
He's not with anyone. I don't remember his last name, but
Finger on the pulse, lives in Delaware. He just knows. He's got a gut feeling.
I was very grateful. I go, thanks, Billy. I hope that's true.
I hope you tagged him too. Like, thanks. At highlighted however you
You
do
should
it
come
on
on the
Facebook,
pod
Billy.
sometime, Billy. You're
Hey.
so knowledgeable.
Billy, if you remember the time you commented on that question, I just said, reach out. We'll get you on here. We got our first super fan. Billy's like, I don't even like it. All right, so Ant-Man 3 though. So there is some news though. I don't mean to be bitter. I'm always grateful for any news, but like, hey, Disney Plus, Disney, Kevin Feige, all you guys, we need an update. And I hope that they're working on something like DC's been doing, and we're gonna get some big surprise. But like, that's a massive hope for me as a fan.
I mean, I'm more DC than Marvel, and DC had to basically throw a Hail Mary, and they caught it. I feel like Marvel basically didn't they just roll out like, here's what we're gonna do in phase 29 through 64.
That's a really fair point. That is a really fair point, because it is true. It's like they did already they've been keeping us up to speed every 6 months to a year, and there is a plan. I guess what sucks is, like, for me, I feel like you told me a show was coming on in August, and I myself, if it's out there, please forgive me. I'm not meaning to trash on something if it's really out there, but I haven't heard anything about Falcon and Winter Soldier being pushed back. Like, don't tell me a show's coming on and then like the whole month goes by and you don't tell us why. Not saying they're doing that. Again, if it's out there, Mike's looking now, but
Yeah, well, we know why, but
well,
Just
we know.
tell us.
Yes. Well, we just updates are great.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're into the Phase 4 schedule. That being said, sorry, I get you guys this news. That's me just venting for a minute. Ant-Man 3 announces its villain, Kang the Conqueror. Just say right off the bat, not familiar. Read a little bit about him, and I put in a picture here from a comic that he's in. Looks like he's in the same world as like Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four a little bit.
Yeah, he looks like maybe X-Men kind of thing.
Yeah, a little more mutiny,
But-
like. But he's going to be the villain in this Ant-Man movie, and it's going to be played by Jonathan Majors. I'm not really that familiar, but he's in that new show that everyone's talking. I mean, a lot of people are talking about online, Lovecraft Country
Oh, the new HBO show.
on HBO.
Never heard of it.
Excuse me. So exciting. I've heard that show is good. Lovecraft Country. Never seen it. Love to see more diversity in the MCU. This is great. I'm not sure we could probably list some, but I'd like to think about it. Other African American, like the main villain of the movie, Black Panther, obviously, but the whole cast, you know.
Mhm.
But I was trying to think if there was another African American, like the main villain. Like, can't think of like an Iron Man film, but either way, you know, just exciting. Nice to see some diversity, and apparently that Lovecraft Country show on HBO, people are going crazy about it.
I haven't watched it,
Me neither.
but HBO pumps out shows. I mean, I don't expect anything less. So
Well, and they typically pump out pretty good shows.
Sweet, I might watch it.
All right, why don't we check that out, and let's all commit to watching the pilot.
and the only
sometime.
thing I see on Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that they resumed filming. And this was
Yeah.
10 hours or 11 hours ago. So, and they still say, and kind of just says August, but we're not in August anymore. August 2020.
Yeah.
And then the next thing it kind of says is, and I don't know if the site's reliable. So
What's the site?
techradar.com.
Tech Radar is usually pretty good. I mean,
Um,
I see them for some stuff.
it just talks about the Black Widow November 6th too.
a lot of
so-
Well,
of
and
the
that looks like it's getting pushed back as well. And I didn't put it on the list, but Wonder Woman just got its 6th release date.
And I think they saw Tenet come out and get lackluster box office, so they're kind of like, well, why we spent all this money on this movie? Waiting's not going to hurt us, you know, overall as bad as pushing it out now.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's cases like that. You think like, okay, well, maybe we can do something a little different. I wonder how Mulan's doing. Not to put pressure on you, Mike, but I wonder what Mulan's made so far, because they released the special premiere on Disney Plus, and you had to pay $29.99 on top of your membership. I wonder how many they've sold.
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the information and articles and stuff that I've seen on this show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they always kind of talk about something seen in set photos. So I don't want to open it. I don't want to read it. Like, that's just how I am about spoilers and stuff. I want to keep it pretty spoiler free. So I haven't been opening those. So there might be more information in there, but I know like the U.S. agent is a big thing in that in this season, and he's played by the guy that was in 22 Jump Street.
Which guy?
I like that character. Oh my god.
But funny.
Long blonde hair. He's like I think he's the quarterback with
I asked it like I remember the storyline perfectly. I really don't remember. I just remember it was funny.
They all run together.
great movie.
like-
Great movie.
Yeah, yeah. You look back at both. They
Yeah.
do kind of weave into
Zook,
each other.
I think is his name.
Funny. Well, we'll see. I guess it sounds like if they're filming. Well, I hope we hear some more definitive news soon. But we'll see. Either way, cool to see some news on Ant-Man 3. Still in the MCU. Read that. Are you guys familiar with the MCU shows, the dark gritty ones that were on Netflix? Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and the Iron Fist.
I was religious with them like I watched everyone in order. Like,
Yep.
I'm all in on this. Then it came out like, hey, you know what? They're not going to do these anymore. And I just kind of fell off the cliff. I was like, why am I going to
Same.
devote my time if you're not going to give me the satisfaction of tying up a story?
Right.
And Iron Fist was awful.
That's the only one I haven't seen, and I'm glad I didn't now after that.
Season 2 of the Iron Fist was not near as bad, but season 1 was bad. Like me watching the pilot going, there's more.
We're going to stretch this out for 10.
So when you're saying reboots, that's as new Netflix shows or to be recasted as people in the existing MCU?
So here's the news. They are going to be rebooted. It sounds like. Kevin Feige spoke on this. This is from this image is from Netflix. I forget what article I read, but I read a few just because I wanted to read up on it. They're not going to bring back all of them. It sounds like Daredevil is the closest. The big story here is these guys' contract is actually with Netflix.
Okay.
It expires in December, and that's when things can start to happen. So what Kevin Feige and what others have alluded to, there hasn't been anything definitive, is that they want to bring these characters back, at least Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil, probably not Iron Fist. And Daredevil is like the closest one. Jessica Jones might be the second. And honestly, the Punisher, which I have on here next, is in this world too. And that's its own show, and this is its own standalone show, even though it started as a character that was introduced on Daredevil. So they said that they want to reboot these and put them on another service, maybe like a Hulu or someone that can take it and let it be gritty still, but it's a reboot. Same actors.
Not continuing the storyline, rebooting.
Yeah, it sounds like they might have to redo the whole story. That's what this latest quote I saw from Kevin Feige made it seem like, is that it's like a new storyline, but he said that he can't see anyone other than this Charlie Hunnam, I think his name is.
Very good.
He's so great. But I hear you, Mike, like the stories might be their own. They might start fresh, or maybe because they do want these to exist in the MCU, like kind of on the small screen again. They've even talked about Charlie Hunnam. Getting ahead of myself a little bit. Well, I'm not getting ahead of myself. It's kind of a mixed news situation. They've talked about Charlie Hunnam being like Tom Holland's lawyer in Spider-Man, like that Peter Parker.
That's cool. Now
Now they've talked about, just skipping ahead to this news, they're talking about trying to get the Punisher involved with the Spider-Man film. And it's just like, how would that work? And how do you do a film like that? So there's some news, that's all rumorville, right? The stuff that sounds like more definitive is that they're in talks to let these contracts in and do something.
And is Sony screwing up anything? Because Sony loves to get their hands in Spider-Man stuff. So is Sony like, hey, you know what?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, you have to have Daredevil in here and then pay us $20 million to have Daredevil in it. Like, I don't know. Sony just does weird stuff with Spider-Man. So nothing shocks me.
No, I have so many thoughts on Sony. And actually, I swear, a lot of this isn't planned. I thought of this earlier in my head, but plug another podcast. This one actually is in our world. I want you guys to check this one out, like YouTube specifically, but also you, the listener. It's called Master of the Cultureverse, and it's a podcast, and it's very similar. Like they're new too. They're a newer podcast. I think they got like 7-8 episodes out. If you look at the titles of each of their episodes, they almost follow our titles. And I've never met these guys. I met them through Audrey, again, that company that just networks people. He messaged me. Forget his name off the top of my head. Sorry, but Masters of the Cultureverse. They're on Instagram. Go find them. And I'm sure their Spotify. I'm sure their podcasts are playing everywhere too. So check them out. But we talked about. I heard them on an episode today. I was listening to. Same thing. Sony. It's like what are they? They're doing. They always just do whatever they want, and it almost feels like, well, it's just because we can.
It's like that. Am I the meme guy now? But that one guy, like, he rubbing his hands together and licking his lips, like, ooh, yeah. Well, how can I screw this up right now? That's what Sony does. It seems like.
Yeah, they're like, you can't do Venom without Spider-Man. They're like, watch us. And here's the thing.
was pretty good.
They kind of pulled it off. But then you're going to do more BS without Spider-Man? How's that work? And that's what those guys on that podcast I was just plugging, they were talking about that. Like, how do you do that villain? And then they also are like, well, we got more movies coming up. Guess what? Silver Sable.
Who?
Who?
Silver Surfer's sister? Like, what are we doing
I don't
here?
even know what that is.
I'm going to tangent here for a minute. I watched Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer last week. It's good.
Oh.
It's like I thought it was good when I watched it in high school. It's still good, and the people that were on it. Stan Lee was a producer on it.
Is that with Chris Evans, Jessica Alba, that one?
Yep.
That crew?
We're gonna talk about Chris Evans too.
Oh no.
We're gonna talk about it, but in the right way.
He spread his love the right way after it was all said and done.
Well, and here's the thing. Let's just get this out of the way. Chris Evans accidentally posted a picture of his junk on Instagram over the weekend, or Twitter.
Now, or did somebody get it off his phone? Like hack
He
his phone?
accidentally posted it on Instagram,
No,
I believe.
I believe
Okay.
he posted it himself. And here's the thing, guys. You can't say a bad thing about Chris Evans. And he was on an interview today, and he was good enough to come on and talk about it and promote his new company, his like new non-for-profit he just started.
Yeah.
AGS,
Yeah, I saw that.
I think AGN or AGS. It's on his Instagram profile. You go check it out. He just to give credit.
Whatever you want to check out on his Instagram profile.
But it's like a really good foundation. It's all about like being human and helping humans. He has always like gone to kids, that were dying in the hospitals, and I you see what you see on the media. But Chris Evans is one of those celebrities that I truly believe he's just like a good dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that's
was an-
clear.
But dude, did I kind of want to? Was I curious? I mean, who tell me there's a chance I could just see Captain America's dick for like 1 second? I didn't want to like look it up. I was like, don't look it up because that's what they want you to do. But I was like, well, if it's out there, it's not
Just
going to be that
for,
much longer.
Like scientific comparison purposes.
It's only to see like, what am I working with
Yeah.
Versus Captain America.
versus Captain America. I think it's a question that if you tell me that you're not curious and that if someone held it to you and looked, but here's the thing, I'm all about respecting the guy's privacy. He feels bad though. And
Yeah.
But he did it a cool way. Did you see what he tweeted?
oh yeah,
He's like, now that I have your attention, go vote.
go vote.
And I was like, that's
what I was
awesome.
just
glad
about
That's
to pull
awesome.
up.
Really glad you said that because that is what I want people to take away from this is go vote. Chris Evans turned this thing around. He even said, turn it around upside down. He's like the most optimistic guy. But I mean, somebody sends their dick out on Instagram. It's funny.
Yeah. I mean,
Whatever.
Who cares?
Who
If he has
cares?
the tiniest dick in the
You-
whole world.
yeah,
He's
you-
fucking Chris Evans. He's Captain America.
You already
so,
made all the films.
Yeah, like
Oops.
it's not gonna hurt his character. It was
Oops, I posted this. Let me delete it.
Mark Ruffalo spoke out and said, I'm paraphrasing, but he tweeted and said, if something along the lines of, if Donald Trump can be president and tweet daily, you can accidentally do this one time. You're a good person. It's like perfect perspective.
Yeah.
Like you got people like doing things nonstop. Chris Evans, you're all right. We love you. So we'll see what happens with these dark MCU shows. Mike, I'm kind of with you. I want to see them happen. I'd love to see the stories continue, but that's all TBD.
Because, I mean, if they do continue, I get back into them.
Yeah, I would. And
They're also good,
Um,
minus Iron Fist. Like they're all so good independently and together. I like the Defenders too. The Defenders was great.
Daredevil, awesome villain.
Kingpin,
Yeah,
Kingpin.
Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk,
badass.
Jessica Jones, who's her villain? That mind reader guy.
Killgrave,
Joy?
Killjoy.
Killgrave. That might be it.
That's it.
It's one of those.
Also, just to correct earlier, Daredevil's actor's name is Charlie Cox. You
What'd
said
I say?
Hunnam, and I was like, that's the
Sons
other
That's Sons of
guy.
Anarchy.
Yeah,
Thank you, Andy.
no problem. I looked it up, and I was like I knew Charlie was right. I just can't remember his last name. He's like not in a lot of stuff, but
No, he's not. But
he did a great job. Like, he played a blind guy that I believed he was truly blind. Like, that's
Like, I bet people had to look it up. Like, is the guy that plays
Yeah.
Daredevil blind?
yeah, they did. His name's Logan. He looked it up.
he did a better job than Ben Affleck. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like Ben Affleck. Someone came to him and said, "This will be cool," and
Here's $20 million. This is going to be real cool. He's like, you know
Yeah.
what's real cool? $20 million.
they go, "Jessica Carter's gonna be in it." And he's like, "Oh, cool. I know her from Armageddon."
Yeah. No, she wasn't. Was she in Armageddon?
No, that was the
That was
other.
Liv Tyler.
It was Liv
I
Tyler.
think that's the second time we've got them confused on this spot in 10 episodes.
2 different movies, I think, though.
It's not even.
Two 90s movies, like or early
Damn.
2000s.
So
Armageddon
funny.
was like 98.
Just.
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
We got to get this thing back on the rails. We could talk a pod about Armageddon if we needed to.
Oh, dude, that's the thing. That's why it's.
Hey.
I've said this like 5 times. It's mostly superheroes for a reason. I would love to do an episode on Armageddon.
Elon Musk is basically going to Armageddon it, but mine for stuff on asteroids.
Is that right?
That's
Gold.
the rumor.
Is that the
Gold.
lead?
Trying to find gold.
He's mining,
Asteroids.
just like they did in Armageddon.
But they blew it up. He's mining.
Did he call Bruce Willis already?
The oil driller of all people. Somebody posed this question. I don't know why I saw this. It said, wouldn't it be more beneficial to just train the actual astronauts how to oil drill instead of train the oil drillers how to be astronauts?
Oh, man.
You just broke my brain with that one.
Like,
That is so spot on.
yeah, like we already have these astronauts ready to rock. Can't we just teach them how to be oil drillers instead of teaching these oil drillers?
Well, we didn't
How
have
to
the
be
Space
astronauts?
Force yet. That's probably why.
True.
Now we have the Space Force. They'll take care of all
Yeah, but listen,
that stuff.
listen to this though.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
you got an astronaut that knows how to drive the rocket to moon.
Yeah.
I bet he could figure out how to work out the drill that drills into the ground.
Yeah, we could figure it out.
Oh, we got to drive that.
Oh, we got this crew coming in. What?
What's the guy's name? The crazy eyes guy that's in that one.
Steve Buscemi.
Yep. Thank you, Andy.
He is a legend.
He's so great in that film. They're all so great. That's such a good movie.
So good.
Okay, so the next bit was a little bit of MCU. This is again like Rumorville. I told you MCU stuff was thin today, guys. But it's been said that Tom Holland's saying that he wants John Bernthal's, like that's his name, Berthal,
Barenthal or something like that.
something like that. It's close. Punisher, also one of those films we were talking about, to be in a Spider-Man flick. What that would look like. This is literally not even news. It's just a rumor. So he got a combo going. This is from We Got This Covered. So we'll see. Last bit of Marvel news, I believe. Heard that Lady Gaga's being eyed to play a mutant, Emma Frost. And you guys might remember Emma Frost from X-Men
First Class?
First Class. She played by the great
January Jones.
January Jones, who is also plays Betty Draper in Mad Men. Just to give you a nice picture there. But if you'd like to see a real picture, go watch us on YouTube.
I feel like Lady Gaga is an actual mutant, so this is perfect for her.
I mean, she is like an alien. I mean, she's like the most. Did you guys see the VMAs? I've been preaching up the VMAs lately.
Like the last one, they still do those?
They just did the VMAs this year.
No, I didn't watch it.
It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen on television from a produced show that's on TV, like an award show. Easily the most visually stunning award show I'd ever seen in my life. Music, crazy sets, the biggest green screen sets you've ever seen in your life.
I wonder if it was live, or they could do it like segments.
That's what it felt like. It felt like they did it live, but like with heavy like CGI. Like the budget for this thing must have been crazy. You had The Weeknd singing the big song that's out right now.
That's a banger.
It's so great.
Weekend's awesome.
So great. He's singing on this giant glass skyscraper in the sky for real. And there's a helicopter circling him and he's by himself, like out like 50 feet up, 50 stories up in the air. And he's singing just like out in this little peninsula on a building.
Do that dance again. That's pretty good. I liked it.
Did you guys think I was The Weeknd for a minute?
Or Carlton from The Fresh Prince.
Same.
Anyway, Gaga won a bunch of stuff. She did.
I mean, she's maybe the most talented person in the world.
Superstar. She is definitely like a superstar of our generation.
She's
like she's like our Madonna, our Michael Jackson. I mean, I think she's so great. When she did the Super Bowl 3 years ago, it's unbelievable.
And the thing about her is she could just sit down at some smoky bar and pop on that piano and just wail. and like do whatever she needs to. She doesn't need anybody, and she doesn't need those theatrics and stuff. She has them, which makes her an icon, but now she could just go to anywhere, pop down, and you're glued to what she's doing. But this role, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't.
She was in
A Star's Born,
Stars Born.
Yeah, she's a decent actress. She's in I haven't seen that, but
but I don't know
American
if
Horror
she's.
Story. She's been a couple seasons of that.
That's right. I heard about that. I haven't seen that.
But January Jones is like my mind, and that's just two different kinds of things. I don't know.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon played the bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On that yacht or whatever.
This is like, I mean, I know it's a superhero podcast. You guys are finding out some things I just don't know. I don't remember his name. He could like take in the energy though. If they blasted him with like a missile, he could soak it in and then like throw it back. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. It was like they were like in talks, and like I guess that's Disney. I would assume because they own
Yeah, what film is this for, or is it just like a possible film in the future?
exactly.
Okay.
But obviously, if someone's bringing it up, then maybe there is a film. But because I mean, maybe it could be any film because, as Andy and I have called out a few times, we don't know how they're going to insert these mutants into the MCU. So really, at this point, anything's possible.
Yeah.
She could be in a
It's like the
Ant-Man
biggest-
movie.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
can see her in
biggest
the background.
question
exactly.
that is going to be answered in the next few years. Hopefully, I can't wait. I have no effing clue, but however it happens, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and I'm here for it.
It's so true. Yeah, when they get going,
Even if it's
There's no question
Lady
of the
Gaga
work.
that has to do it.
there's no question of the work. Like you hear me really griping. I know that when you do it, you'll do it, but just 2020's got us griping about all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's not you, Marvel. I'm sorry. I'm just had a rough day.
But
It's not you, it's me.
Hey, let me give you a nudge though. If you want to do it, 2020's been pretty crappy. If you want to do it pretty quick, give us something.
Yeah, that'd be great. The masses would appreciate it. And I think this is our last bit of news, and then we can take a break. The Walking Dead, critically acclaimed, famous show. Season 10, I think, is either wrapping up or will be wrapping up. Season 11 will be the last season of The Walking Dead.
That's the one they're currently on right now, correct?
I think they're on 10. But-
Okay.
but I may
It
have
probably was cut short, maybe, because of COVID, I'm guessing.
I would assume so.
Because I don't remember there being a...
I think they're going to make
That's-
one more season, is how I read it.
that's the thing. I'm sure... Have you guys been keeping up on this?
Not at all.
Not since Negan.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of like the last
Like,
thing I was.
And I say
See-
Negan's in future episodes. Not since Negan. Spoiler alert for Walking Dead. There you go. Died. Or not died, sorry. Got taken down.
He's
Well, I
It
mean,
did the bat.
can I say things that are going to spoil to you guys, or we can do?
yeah.
I need to be
I
courteous?
don't see me ever going
I
back
don't-
and be like, I need.
It
to
depends.
deep
I don't wanna-
dive into this.
I'm not going to watch it. Go ahead and tell us.
I mean, he's still in it. He's a good guy now. That's what is insane.
I haven't watched him
And
since he
it-
popped Glenn in the
In
head.
the
That's
most
what I was
recent season, towards the end, it's not even been in the finale.
Again, we said spoiler alert. We're talking
actually-
Walking Dead for a minute.
Yeah, the bad guys and the villains in the most recent season are called the Whisperers. Basically, they wear like zombies like faces, and they just kind of walk slowly through the woods, and they kind of sneak up on people because they're camouflage basically, and they're not attacked by zombies because they wherever they have the smell on them that shows that they're dead. So he actually kind of infiltrates their camp, so you think that he goes from bad to good to bad, but
Oh
then
boy.
I don't want to.
It's okay.
Spoil it too bad, but
Well,
his character arc is just insane.
well,
Flip.
that's good. Maybe don't spoil all the
Yeah,
way
no,
because
I'm
then
not
I can
going to go all the way.
then I
but-
can decide if I actually want to ever pick it
like
back
pop
up.
in the last season or something.
Maybe, yeah. Right.
But I will say, as from somebody that's watched it religiously, it definitely does not catch my interest as much now. I'll watch season 11 because for the same reason that I probably watched season 9 and 10 because I want to see how it all ends.
And that's how I am too. That's where that's where you could get me back as like, and like I feel like shows only really do this too, and like why announce it so early. It's a last ditch effort to like get one big push. I doubt they would do like, oh, we're gonna have another season. That'd be wild. I don't think anyone's ever done
Yeah.
that. Why not? But like if you like had a really bust out season. All right. Well, let's just see. We'll keep an eye on this. Either way, though, it looks like it's coming to a close. So
Yeah.
something for me personally to think about. We'll see. I kind of want to see like teasers for what that season will look like. If the promo grabs me, maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, just
Not making any promises.
give me an explanation of what the F is going on.
Can I ask a question about The Walking Dead? You might know. They did a spinoff, right?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Did they ever come together?
Yep.
They did.
Slightly.
They did.
Spoiler alert for Fear the Walking Dead. Morgan from that show ends up from the main show ends up on Fear the Walking Dead, like in season 3 or 4.
Okay.
So like that's when they're
'Cause
like,
I know
okay, now it's the same time, and I'm like, so I mean they kind of they did kind of tell us what happened. Did you watch Fear the Walking Dead, Andy?
No, I did not. I watched a few episodes.
You're still watching the show and you haven't seen that show? You gotta watch that show. That show's like the best show. That's like they drop you in. First of all, you're on the other side of the country. You're in LA, and the virus breaks out, and you watch a family live through it. That's what you want.
Okay, I might do that.
I think I would recommend it. I think it's maybe less episodes too. It's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's only a few seasons. Definitely.
All right. Well, Walking Dead.
I just didn't know. Like, has there ever been a show to have a spinoff of their show when their show was going on? Like, do people do that?
And how funny if like The Walking Dead ends, but they're like, no, Fear the Walking Dead just got renewed for 4 seasons.
And then they just trickle in old characters like cameos. They're like, hey, how's everyone doing? Oh no!
I mean, that'd keep people interested for sure, but I think there's a pretty low population.
Carol, you're still alive.
You've looked dead for 6 seasons, but you're still here.
Been asking for you to be dead since season 2.
I just miss Rick. Like this kind of all went down.
Spoiler.
Oh man.
No,
sorry.
I kind of knew he's dead.
Yeah, that's
gone.
we've already said spoiler. We're about to wrap up Walking
Well, I
Dead.
didn't say he died.
Yeah.
He just went away to college.
He didn't.
I don't know.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go back.
He didn't die. He got taken away in some helicopter.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where it's supposed to be another spinoff where they're going to make a movie about where he went.
That's enough.
That's
enough, Walking Dead.
See,
You guys need to make one good show, not at like 5 okay things.
I need a graph.
I
Like,
agree.
who's here, who's not. And like,
Remember that season when they were just at the prison and they were like, we did it, guys. We grew our garden. And I was like, I know. I watched you build it. I was like, this season's just been about you guys hanging out in the
Those
prison.
are the good old days, though. Sadly,
Those were the good old days. Like after the farm.
Negan
And
fucked
then-
everything up.
but then in my mind, like they're working to Washington D.C. was their goal in the early seasons. We probably ran way over on this.
No, we're
But,
all right. We're
they
okay.
start-
This is the last bit before we
They
take a
basically
break.
started in Atlanta, right? And it took years to go to Washington D.C.
And
Like,
the best episode to this day, for me, I stopped watching at season 6 or whatever, 7 maybe, is when they went to the CDC.
at the end of season
And
1.
they had that actor he's in a bunch of stuff. He was in The
Yeah.
Americans. He played the FBI agent in The Americans. I highly recommend The Americans. If anybody else watches that, I'm
It
happy
blew
to
up,
talk about
right?
it.
Doesn't that happen?
Yeah. in
Okay.
season 1.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, no one's ever going to figure or something like that.
And guess what? He was right.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oof.
Yeah. All right. So we'll keep an eye on Walking Dead news. You might see it sprinkled in here. You can obviously hear we're kind of on the fence with it. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. But for right now, first of all, thanks for this image was from Insider and CNN, it looks like. We are going to take a break and we'll be right back. We're back. Yeah, Mike was just saying it looks like Doc Ock's like office in this place. Because
Just tentacles everywhere.
you can't see this side like this camera is, but there's just like 100 of these.
Lot
It
of
works.
angles.
Dude,
You got my good angles. That's all that matters.
I'll tell you right now, I have stretched all the things that I own to make the videos you guys watch. I use 2 like 7-year-old iPads. This webcam here, my dad gave me like 10, 12 years
What
ago.
about that phone?
The phone is my phone.
No, the one that's recording that thing over there.
Yeah, we did a new camera today. We have a Facebook portal because that was a gift from my dad. And we're going to give you guys some new shots of like us coming into the studio. It's going to be fun. There's I can't record it on the Facebook portal because Facebook portal only allows for 30-second videos. So I just have the portal up on the TV. If you're not familiar with portal, it's a really nice camera. It like follows your face. So since I can't record it to the portal, I have a phone that I found in the park. That's the studio phone.
Park phone.
I tried to find the owner. I like called people, text everyone, gave it like 30 days. Then I washed it. Should have washed it first.
Did you wipe it, or did you like Clorox wipe
No,
it?
I
or-
used like a little bit of soap.
Thing's a brick. I didn't even see it.
And it's recording the screen, so yeah, it's over there recording.
funny.
I mean, we'll see how it looks. But yeah, we definitely stretched the equipment to the max in here. Okay, thanks for bearing with me, guys, as I went through some news. Just real quick before we dive into this stuff, plug real quick the website, mostlysuperheroes.com. All the episodes are there. Said it earlier, this is episode 10. And just so you guys know, I mean, you guys listening, but Mike and Andy, I mean, I have no intention of stopping now. I'm having too much fun in here. And I mean, I feel like the more you guys are in here, the more I'm doing even the solo episodes. We're finding a groove and we're starting to see what we like to talk about. It's phase 2 now. I'm ready to hear from the people that are following us, checking us out. Like, tell us what you want to talk about. Everything you see in here on this list is stuff that we just say, like, we want to talk about that.
I mean, you can't watch it all. We can't watch it all. We can't read it all. But if there's something that interests you, like this Saturday, we got a text from Andy. Hey, I'm watching Batman 1989. Guess what me and Logan did on Saturday night? We both watched Batman 1989, and now we're going to talk about it a little bit today. That's stuff that makes this podcast great, and we can evolve and like change on a dime, but it's stuff we care about and stuff we're into. But I haven't seen Batman 1989 in a while.
I'll say
But
right
it's
now,
good to rewatch it.
I had, and especially watching it, I was like, I haven't seen this in forever. And then I watched Batman Forever today.
I wanted to so bad. F my
Did you
work
watch it?
For being, making me be
Returns.
busy
I'm
today.
sorry. Forever, I thought of immediately Batman Forever. I did not watch that one.
Isn't other Mike's favorite Batman of all time Val Kilmer? Didn't he say that?
He said that. The thing I remember most about what Mike said about those movies was that Mr. Freeze never gets enough credit.
Yeah, I think he's got some hot takes, but
Did you guys watch Batman Returns?
I didn't.
I have not seen
Okay,
it
so we
recently.
won't really
I
talk about
really
it today,
wanted to
but
watch it today.
But since we're on the topic today, unless you guys want to dedicate an episode to it, I'll just highlight some of the things that I saw today.
I'm honestly fine with dedicating an episode to it.
Oh
But
man, what am I gonna say? No, that sounds great. We could do a whole. You know what we could do? We could just do a whole Batman episode soon.
Yeah,
because there's just so much happening still. I mean, we've already done a lot of Batman stuff, but
we sure have.
But there's a lot of Batman news.
I mean, he's top. To me, and Andy, I think it's the top superhero. But I mean, he's top 3.
What a statement!
Oh, yeah.
And I love
Number
how you just sneak it in.
It's
Like I'm
number
just
one.
gonna go like, oh yeah. I don't know who the best superhero is. Now a lot of podcasts.
I mean, I would say Superman, Batman, and
You're just talking about DC characters.
those are the top 2 to me. And then I would say probably overall Spider-Man, but then Iron Man's made a jump since 2008. He's made a jump. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, this is tough.
Well, that's
We could have a whole episode on rankings.
Well,
too.
that's what I was gonna say. Why don't we just plan a rankings episode? Because
Add
then
it to the
because I
list.
love when people
Batman
do those
rankings.
tournaments. I just saw one recently. It was one about superhero movies. No one's Batman.
then we could put up some cool graphics of our rankings, and then you could vote
you think
on.
you think there aren't going to be slides?
And then you could vote on who you think has the best rankings.
That's an episode that's coming up.
Yeah.
What do you know? More content just presented itself. Great segue. Batman. We're going to talk about some DC stuff. So we did news. This isn't all just news, but I do want to cover just some things that I heard from DC fandom, and a lot of it is like CW heavy. So just fair warning. But we'll talk about it. We'll just go through it. I know Mike, we've covered this before. Me and Andy watch these shows. I don't know if religiously is the right word. There's some that I miss sometimes. More than not, for sure. And like the main ones, I'll always follow. The Flash. We'll go through them all, but like there's ones that I just don't miss, and there's some that I will. But I know that you kind of stopped a while back. You saw some of Arrow, and since then a whole multiverse has been created, destroyed, and now spoiler alert for DC universe, they're all living on Earth Prime, which is like the one planet inside of this new larger multiverse, and we'll talk about all that too because it gets covered. But first up, and I mentioned it earlier, but this came out of the second round of DC fandom this past weekend.
I like that graphic.
Yeah, this was cool. So The Flash is the first one we're going to talk about. Some news here. This is on the CW. The graphic they're running with right now.
I like it.
Running with is a mask. He's got a mask on. We were just talking about masks during the break. And for those that might not be following the show, kind of like Mike, we'll do kind of I'm just gonna catch us up real quick. If that's all right. We're on like season what, Andy? 8,
Yeah,
7,
it's like 6, I think.
maybe
Maybe 5 or
6. I don't
6,
know.
whatever.
It's somewhere in there. Once you get in the between 5 and 10 of a show, I never know what season it is.
And these have like 26 episodes a season, right?
Yeah, they're long.
Primetime TV, 40-minute shows without commercial breaks, 20 to 24 episodes usually. That being said, because of COVID, Flash got cut short on this season and had to end at like episode 17. It's not a spoiler because I'm not going to say anything about the storyline, but to what we talked about earlier about Doom Patrol, they had to wrap up the show early on episode 9 rather than getting in episode 10. Very similar situation here. They had to have a season finale that felt very abrupt. I don't know if you were following that season at all.
Yeah.
They were fighting in the Mirrorverse.
I didn't even know it was a finale. That's, to be honest.
Same.
Because it's this kind of probably similar like Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they're not announcing like, hey, we're absolutely effed because of COVID. We can't release episodes. I don't know. I think it just ended.
It just ended, and it was, again, very abrupt. This is what I'll say about The Flash. I love this show. I think it's a great show. And when the first 3 seasons, it's some of the best superhero TV you're ever going to watch in your whole life. It's still good, and everything they're doing in CW land is great with the crossovers, being on each other's shows. I mean, everything that came from the show Arrow is just, I mean, it's spectacular. It's its own, in its own right, it's its own multiverse like MCU created.
Mhm.
Or, you know, of movies and whatnot, just this universe. That being said, the show's been going very heavy into like Iris and Al and Barry. Like, it's all about like the love relationship of these two people. And I feel like they're trying, it's primetime TV. They have to play to a very broad audience. And so they have to hit on all cylinders. I mean, the CW's money is in superhero shows. Like, they don't, like, I don't know how big their other stuff is, but like they have tripled down on this DC universe.
Mhm.
And so they want these shows to be, you know, they have to go to this broad audience. But for me, I'm always like by 3rd season in a row, it's like every episode is about Barry and Iris. And like the villain for him to beat the villain, Iris has to get on the line and be like, you can do this, Barry. You can do this. And she's always doing that. And it's fine. It's cool. But like they play it out until they like no end.
Yeah,
all I'm
it's
saying is Barry Allen would still be the Flash, you know. Not just I know what love's about. Like I'm doing it. I'm getting engaged. I know, I get it. But like also like let Barry Allen just be the Flash, because the show's called The Flash. It's not called The Flash and Barry. It's not like a Superman and Lois show, which we're going to talk about.
Run faster, Barry. Like, I don't know. I haven't watched it.
The show's cool because the effects look great, the storylines keep your attention, and they do like really fun stuff like jump planets and multiverse all the time, so you never know what you're going to get.
I think that's my favorite part about it, just kind of how it connected to, because obviously I watched Arrow first, and then this came out, and I was like, okay, it's pretty cool that they're making this kind of connect like that. That was just the start. Obviously now there's like 8 different shows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I totally agree. It's kind of went off the deep end the past few seasons, but I'm still watching. It's still entertaining
For sure.
It just kind of moves a little bit too slow. So it's probably not something that you want to watch week to week. More so a binge type thing.
I would definitely say that, because half the time, by the time next time I watch an episode of The Flash, I'm like, I don't remember at all what happened.
Exactly.
I
That's what I was doing, because I have to watch it.
That's kind of like the MO of CW shows. Like, to me, I mean, this is me on the outside. Like, I watched Arrow
let's hear it, please.
I watched Arrow a couple seasons, and it'd feel like that. Like, if I watched it week to week, I'm like, oh, we're doing this again? Like, oh, he's in jail again? Oh.
Yep.
They blew up the Glades or whatever they called it again. Like, but I kind of feel what you're saying. Like, it's, if you're bored on a rainy Saturday and Sunday, like, this is a perfect show to throw on and hang out.
But there was a time, and it wasn't, I mean, sometimes there was a time when like the stakes felt like really real. Like, I swear it was like this first or second crossover where they were leading up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is going to be some hard truths right now. I like Crisis on Infinite Earths, but like, this is a major spoiler for
Just go.
Arrow.
Okay.
So major spoiler for Arrow. If you are watching it, hit fast forward or come back and see us. Don't leave, but just skip ahead. Skip ahead about 10 seconds. Here we go. Oliver Queen dies. And it happens in this really big crossover event. Not like on an episode of Arrow.
Does he lose his arm?
No, he just dies. He just dies and like it just Andy, tell me if I'm wrong. Didn't it feel weird? Didn't it feel like it didn't feel like that the
Well,
stakes were like as high as they should
It's
be?
because we talked about this recently as well. Like, they discount it because they bring so many people back to life all the time. Oh, you go in the
So
Lazarus
often.
pit, you're alive. Oh, we get a Earth 2 Logan, you're alive. Anything like that. It's like, you just kind of don't.
But it's also
you don't
cool
believe
being
it.
able to do that.
Like, that should have been a moment, like seeing him die, like from how much I like that show for how long.
Exactly.
I probably should have shed a tear.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to say it.
You know what
I cry sometimes.
I watched that show the whole time. Like I should have watched Oliver Queen die and I should have cried.
But
You ended one of the best
I
shows
was close, but
no cigar. Like it was like so much was happening around him and he was the Spectre in the end.
yeah.
And I was like,
This is it?
That's something I didn't really know anything about.
like it should totally be like one of the best, but also his sacrifice made for this new. So they made for Earth Prime to exist. That was his gift to humanity, was creating this Earth Prime. But like that's just a story they told us. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to bitch, but there's also something to be said about these shows are kind of made for children, like a younger demographic, and they have to keep that younger demographic. So sometimes the story can get lost. I'll be like, okay, wait a minute, don't get too caught up in it. Don't worry, you're gonna get to see the Flash fight King Shark in a minute. Sometimes I feel like that.
I just think like
for sure.
I think we've gotten a little spoiled too about the grittiness of superheroes, and I like that grittiness. And this is kind of like you said, like teeny bopper.
It's like exiting out.
We're like also like growing up too,
That's interesting.
transitioning from our 20s to our 30s, where priorities of what we want to watch on.
I think what you guys are saying is like we're onto something here. It's like the kids stuff. First of all, superhero genre has gone from being like this one channel to like everybody has a superhero show, and now shows like the Umbrella Academy, Doom Patrol, and The Boys exist. Can't ignore those.
Thank you all for giving us cool shit to talk about.
And a new take on superhero genres that we're obviously all into.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I couldn't imagine growing up in this being available when I was young. Like I would be just hooked. And now when I have the opportunity, I have all these streaming services. I can never find anything, but I can. And they're pumping out all this content. It's like it's a great time to still be a little bit of a nerd and want to still be a superhero fan. And like I love it.
I hope so.
I hope so. I'm on a podcast weekly now about superheroes. I hope I still like it.
Yeah.
You're like, I kind of like it. I'm like, I hope you really like
the
it.
Rooster's in the hen house. I hate superheroes. No, I'm just kidding.
Big spoiler alert. Don't even like superheroes.
Now our podcast has a villain.
I've been faking this the whole time, boys. Let's talk about CNN News.
That's great. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with the Flash. They announced the new. I think they changed the title, or maybe this is always the title. Regardless, Superman and Lois is going to be a show on the CW.
I think that was the title the whole time.
I think you're right.
So.
Again, I think me and Andy well aware this Superman has been around since Supergirl.
Yeah.
Since Supergirl.
I don't
Supergirl
watch-
actually introduced Superman to us,
Yeah, I don't watch
like the CW fans. Not
Supergirl. So
you don't watch it.
it's Supergirl or Superwoman. I can't even remember.
It's Supergirl,
Okay,
and
what the hell?
it's a very topical show, and I do watch it.
So
You like it? I've just
It's I get washed on it sometimes, and I find myself having to convince myself to hit play sometimes. I'll be like, here's why, because I'm an addict of superhero crossovers, and I'm like,
Correct.
what if the Flash is on there this week?
like you see him in the background, just a red little
Damn.
thing. You're like, whoa.
I'm like, I would have missed that. They're like, he was just getting coffee.
So is this like a? All right, I know nothing about this. but I remember Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman in the 90s.
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Is this like a redo of it?
It's its own thing, but I'm telling you right now, this is a huge reason I love these shows. All of them is because they pay tribute to everybody that came before them, and they'll do it in like very creative ways. For example, Supergirl, Dean Cain, and who played
Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher. They're both in Supergirl as reoccurring characters.
Yep.
They have done
Brandon.
with the Flash. Well, yeah. Staying on Superman. We'll just stay on Superman. Brandon Routh.
Ralph, yeah, whatever his name is.
We'll say Brandon Routh. He played Superman in Superman Returns. That was in what, 2006? I want to say something like that.
Yeah.
No one really liked it, but regardless, he was carrying on the torch of Christopher Reeve's film. No one really ever knows that's a direct sequel of Superman 4.
I did not know that.
And it's the same universe. Like, that's why they pay a lot of tribute, because it was like he left or something. I'm pretty sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Superman fans out there. If I'm off a little bit, I'm pretty sure I'm on the right track here. I'll always admit when I'm wrong too. I never have to be right. They paid tribute to like him, and they brought back Brandon Routh to be Superman in a show where Brandon Routh was playing he's playing the Atom. He's like their version of Ant-Man. He shrinks down. He's been a reoccurring character from Arrow for like 7 years. I always say 7. It could be 3 years. It could be 20. I always say 7. So they do stuff like that. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, Mike, this is where I'm really going to nerd out right now.
Let's go.
You're going to see it right now.
Strap in.
So on Crisis on Infinite Earths,
I already know where this is going.
Lex Luthor, they have a Lex Luthor reoccurring on Supergirl. It's awesome. It's what's his name from 2.5 Men, not Charlie Sheen.
John Cryer.
Yep. And he's good job.
Didn't even look that up.
Ridiculous.
That was without the computer. Well, he had it in his hand, but he didn't look anything up.
They tried to get Michael Rosenbaum, but failed. They didn't.
There's no way they tried. He would have done that, right?
No, they did.
And he said no?
They basically were. He tweeted about it. They basically said like, yeah, we don't really know how much we're going to pay you or how long your commitment's going to be right now. So he's just like, okay, bye.
Well, hold on. So back up. So what happens is in Crisis on Infinite Earths, they're jumping around Earths. Lex Luthor is to kill Superman. It's a great episode, Mike. He fights. He gets this Brandon Routh Superman that now has a black S on his chest. He's in this world. The Joker blew up the Daily Planet and killed Lois Lane. And he fights this Superman
Mark Sanchez.
on screen. Tyler.
Holy crap.
He does. He looks exactly like Mark.
I
This
see
is the
it
first
now.
time I've seen him. He looks like Mark Sanchez, the old
Wow.
NFL quarterback, USC quarterback.
Oh, okay.
You got to get a side-by-side
no
pic
idea.
for the YouTube video coming
Well,
up.
now that you've said it, I mean, Logan, put that on the screen. Look at that. Holy cow, they do look just alike.
I mean, I'm pulling it up for you.
Well, you can pull it up for me just so I can see it in this moment, and then I'll share it for you guys. Well, his name is actually Tyler.
Shit, yeah.
It's
Ho-
Tyler
Hoechlin?
Hoechlin. Oh, wow, he does. He looks just like him. Well, his name, yeah, something like that. Tyler something. So I'm going to watch this show. I heard it's going to be a family drama.
I'll watch
they
this
have
too, for
they,
sure.
they have a son. Superman has a son in this one. A baby.
Super Bowl baby.
Super baby. Official title.
The next spin-off that we'll be talking about in 5 years.
I don't need to move on too quick. Mike?
And it's
what-
on. It's on the CW.
Oh yeah, so this Superman's been in the show in the universe for a while. So they're gonna live on Earth Prime, and they'll live in a metropolis, and it'll be their life, like at the Daily Planet, and we're getting a Superman show. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. All we need is a Batman one.
And then
Are we gonna get
on
to that or?
this-
No, it's not on here, so we can
Okay.
segue to that.
That's
right
kind of a totally different like article that I saw this week that said that CW is trying to get Batman to agree to having a DC show. That would be
now. I mean, I think that they've done such a great job of building the foundation
yes.
with.
and
Well, there's one thing I do want to talk about before we take it too far. Well, we don't talk. I'm gonna talk about Batwoman though.
right.
And with Batwoman, they've done a great job establishing Gotham City. And they showed us a bunch of different, not a bunch. They alluded to all these different Bruce Waynes out in the world. Like we get a Bruce Wayne on screen played by Kevin Conroy in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I feel like they've done a good job setting up to where they could do it. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I think. Evidently, there was. I've not seen Batwoman yet, But spoiler alert, at the end, evidently there's a Bruce Wayne that finally shows up. And I think that's kind of the reason why they're
An
trying
actual
to
actor,
make this happen. Yeah,
like on
I don't
screen.
know who it is. It's not a big actor or anything. It's just some guy, kind of like everybody in that show. I think that I watched a few episodes before
Well, it's a great segue, and because we can see where it goes. I don't know if you had heard this. It's been news for a while. It's old news, but
Oh yeah,
Ruby Rose decided to leave Batwoman
lame.
just because she wanted to leave.
She did fine, I think.
She did fine, but you can do whatever you want. I mean, she different path, but like I think people probably told her what she was signing up for, and she got to play this bust out new character. Not that she owes anybody anything. She needs to do what she wants, but I didn't get a lot of explanation on why she left. Regardless, there's a huge character, Batwoman. She's like openly gay on the show. It was a huge milestone. Well, now we have. I'm gonna butcher it. Anybody else want to try? You're a teacher. What do you think? Javicia.
I'm gonna say Leslie.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you knew Leslie.
Yavicia, like something like that.
This is, and just so you know, everything I've been showing you
Yeah.
guys here is all from Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes had a great article like calling out the biggest stuff from DC fandom. So shout out to you guys. So Javicia Leslie's stepping in. She's gonna take over the role. I mean, she's
Like nothing changed.
Oh,
they,
no,
like,
no, no.
or
It's
they,
like
rebranding basically.
Ruby
like,
Rose is a white girl, first
Okay.
of all. So it's like,
Yeah, it's got to be totally
like
different.
Oopsie Daisy, she left. All right, here we go.
yeah, I think she's like missing or something.
Basically, gonna have to recast or not recast, but
They have to rewrite
redo the whole season 2 plans. Like, there's no
the whole story was Ruby's or whatever. Kate
Kate Kane.
Kane. Her sister is a psychopath named Alice, and the whole story is their battle. So it's like, you just took away her sister, which she's just gonna be peeved. And I did read the article. That is what they're gonna do. She's gonna be like peeved. She's still gonna be wanting to get something done. And this Javicia Leslie's stepping in. So I've heard good things about her from the directors that are writing on the show and working with her. So she's a real joy to work with. And she's gonna bring a whole new twist to the character. And it's gonna be part of that universe. So we'll see what happens with that.
That's one I'm gonna catch up on for sure.
So back to what you were saying. Could there be a Batman show? You were saying that Bruce Wayne was introduced somehow.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, I guess it was at the very last episode of Batwoman. I have not seen it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of
I definitely watch. There's no question of that. I mean, we'd be all in.
Right? Yeah. Years ago, I thought that maybe Gotham could maybe like kind of cross into it. Maybe CW buys the rights to it or something like that. Something weird. I don't know. I feel like that happens sometimes. Like shows switch networks. Like they went from Doom Patrol went from DC Universe to HBO Max. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's happened other times too. But I don't know. I hope it happens. But
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we know we got maybe that Batman show coming on HBO. We talked about in the last time you guys were on here. I think that was episode 7. So we got that to look forward to. There's obviously another universe, but also similar universe. Who knows? So this is a good segue too. This is where we're kind of naturally getting to. You were just saying, Andy, a lot of these shows out there that have existed are finding their way to survive. DC Universe is a great example of this. So DC Universe came out with its own network. I want to say, had to be years ago because they've come out with a few seasons of these shows on here. Came out with Titans. This is what you were talking about, Mike.
Teen Titans. Yeah.
It's Teen Titans, but the show's called Titans.
Okay.
And it's a dark, gritty version of the cartoon we all grew up with Robin. Typically, they had Cyborg in there. Cyborg's not in this, but he is in Doom Patrol. And it is the same universe. They established that with a crossover.
Okay.
It's cool. There was an early episode of Doom Patrol. It was like the pilot, I think. They even had someone else playing Niles Calder in Doom Patrol in the pilot. If you go and watch it, it's kind of like obviously they changed their mind on the actor. Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl. These are all shows that originated on this network of DC Universe. And now we're doing their kind of own thing. So Titans, I think CW. I think they're going to CW. Stargirl's already on the CW. And then Doom Patrol, as we've exponentially covered today, is on HBO Max. And is going to be exclusively on there for season 3. Titans, I can't remember where they're going, but this was the headline from DC Fandom that these shows are going to survive. So Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl, they're all going to survive in their own right. And as we know from the wild thing that was Crisis on Infinite Earths, the multiverse lives, and we saw flashes of all these shows. All 3 of these shows, and I think others.
Wild.
That was like the multiverse exists, and we're seeing it flashes of these other Earths where these shows are. So really exciting to see all this content that's going to be coming out. I have watched seasons 1 and 2 of Titans. I'm not even perfectly sure
I have not.
how many there are,
Would
but
you recommend?
2. Highly recommend.
Okay, good.
Especially as like a DC fan, you're gonna be happy. There are 2. Spoiler alert. I'm not gonna say it. You guys just go watch it.
I know that it connects closely with, as it progresses, it becomes more attached to like a potential
It's dark.
Batman and all that stuff.
Yeah, and
I know.
there's stuff. I mean, you talk about Batman type show.
I'm gonna need a show soon enough. So
I mean, the
we'll go there.
the lead is Dick Grayson.
Right.
Yeah, check it out. So this was good news out of fandom. Thrilled to hear it. And then the last bit of DC stuff, I wanted to make sure just to highlight to talk about it because the whole thing about this has been no one's talking about it. And I said, well, then I'm going to start a dialogue because I haven't really talked about it with anyone. You guys are the first outside of Carrie, and we very briefly covered this, just talking with each other. The news is Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg in the Justice League film with Affleck, Godot, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa, is in a legal battle with Warner Brothers, saying that he was mistreated, worked under harsh conditions under Joss Whedon, and that there were 2 people that he names at Warner Brothers that not encouraged it, but enabled it and allowed it to take place. I've been hearing about this for months. The Ray Fisher has been very active on his Twitter about the whole process. If you go to his Twitter, he has, and his Instagram, just screenshots of everything that's happened, and he shows everybody everything that he gets. I have no idea if there's any truth to this. Warner Brothers, as far as I can tell, has said none of this has happened, but I heard today, per him, that they did open up like a third-party investigation. So I guess they're,
Good.
which this is exactly what you should do, right? You got to have
Yeah.
somebody else step in. Jason
Yeah.
Momoa came out and said he's with him. He's with Ray Fisher. First of all, he said he didn't get mistreated or anything like that, but he's saying that he agrees with what he is saying and what happened. He also said that Warner Brothers, I talked about this on an episode with Adam, early episode, maybe 2. First one, maybe. That there was news that there was a Frosty the Snowman live action movie being made, and Jason Momoa is the star. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
And I talked about it on the show. I talked about like in episode 1, I think, maybe episode 0, the prelude. I can't remember. It was an early episode.
I remember you talking about it. But
And it was just funny. It was like Jason Momoa was going to play this live action Frosty the Snowman. Jason Momoa said that was completely fake, and that that Warner Brothers was the one that like let it leak, and that there have been other things that have happened like this. I'm not saying any of it's true. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't another person that just didn't talk about this because I didn't know about it. So yeah,
it's just
didn't know if you guys had heard anything. We don't have to dive too deep into it, but this is something that will be ongoing for a while. And apparently Frosty the Snowman isn't happening.
So can you tell me from what Ray Fisher said, are there specific like instances that he said that happened, him being mistreated, or is he just generally saying?
Or can he legally say anything?
I'm just curious because I don't know.
It
was tough because
I'm glad you're asking. I don't know. I didn't get that far. The most I've seen, and this is on my own fault for not reading, I've read probably 3 articles total on this, and the most I can see is he worked under harsh conditions.
I mean, a lot of different things,
I don't know.
but
like he's saying that like he's his case is that he worked under hostile conditions.
Just for the reshoots,
but I don't know the specifics.
Correct? I think the reshoots is what specifically he was complaining about. I don't know. Like Zack Snyder always talks about how Cyborg was like the star of his movie, which I'm sure we'll get to see soon enough.
Yeah, that 4-part Snyder cut.
Like, I didn't know if maybe he was just salty about that, like him kind of being cut down to like from the original movie, and maybe him just having qualms about that. But
Mhm.
I mean, now that Jason Momoa is kind of backing him and saying, like, supporting what he's saying, maybe there's probably some truth to it, obviously, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it's like,
If you,
I
I guess
don't
if
know
you,
if he's just being a diva or
I
not.
guess if you asked my take, it's like I'm with you, Andy. I just don't know enough.
Like, why do you treat your actors like that? They have so much money. What kind of conditions do they need to be in that are not?
Yeah, what could you possibly be doing? But like, and also, it's a whole other world. Like we just have no idea.
No. And probably more information needs to come out. But
Yeah.
And he's like I said, he's very vocal about it. I think he's probably covering his own butt. You know, he's probably
Sure.
like, I need you to see, like, here's the tweet, here's the email.
timestamps of
Exactly.
what happened.
He's been showing a lot of timestamp stuff. He showed whenever, basically when there was some big date that something happened with his case, and on the same day he said that there was a leak of Ben Affleck coming back to the Snyder Cut, and he's like, he shows the timestamps and the days. Like, you think it's a coincidence? It's like it was hours later.
I gotta follow this guy.
Yeah, Rayfisher. I follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm at this point I'm with you guys.
And I follow him in my car.
If you know more about this and you are happy to tell us about it, please send us a line. You know, right, we're at Mostly Superheroes. There's a contact page there. If you know more about this, or at least you could like summarize it in like a, I don't know, 3 essay,
3 paragraph,
3 paragraph
3 essays. You want 3 essays?
a 3-part essay.
There you go.
All right, so we'll see what happens with it. We'll keep an eye on it and see where it goes. I mean, I have another slide here. It says Batman 1989, Doom Patrol, and The Boys. The truth is, we've already talked about Doom Patrol enough today. The Boys, I just wanted to see if you guys have been watching it.
I think we're on the same page. I finished season 1 recently.
I'm trying to rewatch season 1 while also letting up season 2 episodes build up, because I'm that kind of guy that I once it's out, I want to watch it ASAP. But my wife hasn't seen season 1 yet. I think I watched it when I was traveling. She was pissed, but
that's right. You had texted me that. Yeah, for sure.
But now, like, during quarantine, like, you're just with your people 25/8. Never escape them. Like, I can't. If I wanted to watch a show by myself, besides I had to seclude
on your phone.
I had to seclude myself in a room alone. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be alone when we're already alone enough. Like, this is my escape during the week.
You're not trying to isolate at your own house.
Exactly. So,
all right. Well, here's the thing. Don't worry about it. I literally just want to see how far you guys have got on it. Be honest, I'm not tired of talking about it, but I just did another episode on it yesterday. So episode 9, I did a deep dive of
episode 4.
Episode 4. That was the last episode that dropped last week on Friday the 11th, and I did a recap on episode 8 of episode 3, a live watch. So I watch them live. You listen. And you can watch me watch them. It's on YouTube too, and it's my second time through watching it, so I've already had time to think about kind of what's happening, get my thoughts on it, and then remind you of what went down in season 1 and what's coming up in season 2. So that's The Boys. Big booming noise to send it off.
Ding.
With that, do we just want to dive in, or do we want to take a quick break?
I kind of got to pee.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap this episode up with talking about Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, of course, from 1989, and we're going to break it open. So we'll be right back after this break.
Am I ready to talk about Batman? Like, are you serious?
All right, guys, we're back. We're going to talk about this one right here. It's not the OG, but for like my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, first, Adam West was great. That show was.
I mean, it's like the one I remember
beautiful.
From being a child, though, is this one. We just watched it this weekend. All 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
It was you that started the...
Yes. No one was home Saturday morning. I was up early, 9:30. Already got everything done I needed. And just decided I'm going to watch my favorite movie of all time. And I did it, and I was not mad at all. My wife came home in the middle and was like, "Wow, you're watching this again?" I'm like,
you're like, didn't you know it's my favorite movie of all
yeah,
time?
Yeah,
It never gets old.
yeah, I love this movie, and
Don't be a
I
thief
always
of
will.
joy.
Well, I know that I've said this before. Batman's, I know, like your is he still your favorite
Superhero?
to this day?
Yes. Oh, by far.
What about you?
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Wow. I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm just like, this is perfect. So I'll be honest, I was working a little bit while I watched it. So I'm gonna let you guys guide the conversation a little bit. But no, I mean, I was watching, obviously. I forgot that I made a really good slide.
That is beautiful.
Where do you want to start with this? I have so many thoughts. I mean, I have so many thoughts, but first and foremost, his Batman holds up. Like, I hadn't probably watched the movie for real. If I'm being completely honest, I haven't watched it. I'm not like you, Andy. I probably hadn't seen it in 10 years.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's old,
Well,
and there's been so many Batman since then.
There have.
Like,
So that's what I'm
why-
saying. Like, I've seen great Batmans.
Like I'll put. I mean, this is just loosely ranking them, but like the Christian Bale stuff, I think that's number 1. This is number 2, and then everything with like Val Kilmer, George Clooney. That's just really that's a real number 2, but in the sense of being poopy.
But when I watch this again, take out how good those Nolan movies are all together,
Mm-hmm.
and you just go Keaton versus Bale. It's almost hard not, in my mind, to give it to Keaton almost. And after watching it, Bale was great. I mean, he's won an Oscar and stuff, but Keaton was, I don't know. He had a little comedy to him, but it was still dark, and he ate soup really cool and stuff like that in Batman.
But you think about it, it's Michael Keaton. Like he's not.
I know
He's not like an actor that I'd ever say is like badass or even like I don't know.
But
I've liked him in like certain movies here and there. But I mean, yeah, I agree. He did a great job. Like he just was a real Bruce Wayne. Like I don't know.
That's
It just seemed
That's what comes to my mind. Is like I like his Bruce Wayne. Like he was just like he was
a perfect example of why I liked it was when he's having the party and Vicky Vale and the other Knox is in the room looking at all the old stuff, all the old like war things, outfits, and they're talking, and he's like, "No, that's from Japan." He's like, "Well, how do you know?" Well, I went there and bought it. Like that little comedy, that dry humor, I really like. And they're like, "How should we open some more champagne?" He's like, 6 cases? Should we get 6? And they're like, 6 is good. He's like, yeah, 6 cases.
Yeah, the guy's like Knox. He's like,
yeah.
gives her the face like, see, we're gonna get so drunk.
Yeah. And he tells Alfred to give him a grant afterwards.
Yeah,
because he's talking about how he needs money or something like that. He's like, "Oh, Alfred, yeah, give Knox a grant." It's like, see ya. And then Alfred's just like literally like he's like was pushing him to. He basically was alerting him that the Joker, or not the Joker at the time, but Jack Napier was taking down Axis Chemicals, and he was trying to direct him like, "Hey, you need to go be Batman right now. Get the F out of this party." Like he's like, "You need to go that way."
Mm. Wow.
And he was like, "Oh, okay, you're right. Thanks."
That's
Thanks,
so
Alfred.
great. It's
Dude,
so
like,
great. Such a great Alfred.
Oh, I agree.
And then if I remember correctly, he's in the next 4.
Yeah, he's the same actor in the first 4, I believe. He's the only one that crosses over.
Yeah, he crosses over with Clooney to Clooney's Batman.
I forgot about that totally.
Mm-hmm. Should we talk about the Joker?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like it. I like this Joker because I don't want to jump ahead. I mean, everyone's seen the movie.
Well,
yeah, we don't have to do like a recap.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to stay in order, but that's how my brain usually goes. Wherever your guys' brain goes, I that's why I jumped to Joker, because I thought, well, that's where I would go from here.
I love him being flamboyant like he is and doing all that stuff. But then at the end, the fight scene, that's how I feel like a fight between Batman and the Joker really should go. Not mano y mano. It's Batman. Like, he's going to beat the crap out of you, Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, oh, Joker gets some shots in here. No, that's not how it is. Joker's going to be dirty. He's going to play dirty. but Batman should win that very easily unless Joker has something up his sleeve. And I don't know. I like
Sometimes
that.
literally.
Yeah, and I like that how it kind of played out there at the end. But the story kind of connecting them. I mean, you can tell it's coming, but it's I don't know. It's a great superhero movie.
Yeah, I agree.
The Joker, he haunted my childhood, and
This one?
that's
Oh
definitely.
my gosh.
I had
recurring. I'm glad you remembered. I would have totally forgot.
recurring nightmares.
I know we talked about this previously, but
every
I want to
night.
hear about this.
Every night as a child, because I watched this movie every day when I was a kid. My babysitters hated me because they were sick of watching it.
Well, it sounds like people have just been asking Andy, "You watching Batman again?"
Yeah,
Those babysitters should have loved it. Oh, this kid's just gonna be locked in for 2
Literally,
hours. I'm gonna bring my
pretty much.
boyfriend over.
Yeah.
We have 2 hours and 12 minutes. Whatever the runtime is.
So I had this recurring nightmare, and I think it was almost every night when I was a kid. I can't remember how long, but
Your parents let you keep watching it.
I would willingly keep watching it, but I have this nightmare. The Joker would come in and tickle me, and then I would wake up. This sounds ridiculous. This is a completely true story. I'm not lying at all. I promise. But so he'd tickle me, and then I'd wake up, and sometimes I would wake up and I would be laughing.
Oh boy!
Oh, God.
Oh.
And like that's scary,
Yeah, especially for your parents.
right?
They just hear
But
their baby little boy down the hall. Just
I mean, I
Stop
probably was like
tickling
10
me,
years
clown.
old. No, this came out 89 or 89. I was born in 88, so I was probably 6, 7.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
so.
when we all watched it, probably.
And like it ended abruptly because one time I can't believe I'm actually admitting this to where people might listen to this.
It's your choice.
To thousands, hundreds, thousands of people, maybe.
Potentially billions.
Yes. Anyways, so one time he gives me the middle finger, and I bite his finger, and then the dreams ended forever.
you conquered your fears.
That's what
You bit his
I
finger.
thought that. Yes, he
And
gave
then
me
you
the middle
never
finger.
had- what
So
age
I was
were
old
you?
enough to even know what a middle finger meant. Like you're not supposed to know that till you're.
What do you think you had these
8,
dreams
9?
for? Like
I don't
3
know.
months?
It's probably a sign that I should not watch this movie every day, but I did not heed those warnings.
Well, the question at hand: do you still have the nightmares now?
No,
Because-
I don't. It literally.
I know you said
ended.
it ended, but like if you watch the movie again, you still don't have like a
No, I
little bit
haven't
of
had
a.
any recently.
Like you said, your wife came home and she's like, "You're watching this again." She's just strapping in
I
for a
killed-
night of night
I killed
terrors.
Yeah, right. No, she's buckling up for a night of giggles.
Yeah, she wishes.
Jokes on her.
Yeah, you wish.
No, actually, now that I think about it, I haven't had
That's awesome.
any nightmares since. So
That's
it's
a
like
good story.
legitimately,
That
like
is a good
I
story.
like conquered my dreams. Like I killed.
I feel
the
like that's a
monster.
real like life symbol for like what like dreams can do. Like, and you took the stand and said, I mean,
Dead.
was there blood in the dream? Do you remember?
I can't remember that.
I mean, you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, probably
yeah.
not. Probably not.
But still,
I think. Well, thank you for sharing that. Are you okay?
I'm okay now.
Thanks for sharing it.
I'm over it.
Well, this Joker that terrified you as a child or tickled you. I liked him too. Carrie said this before I even had a chance. She's like, he reminds me of the Joker from Gotham, because Carrie's the one that actually got me to watch Gotham because I'd never seen it before. And we all know, I forget his name. Maybe you can look that up. He's on Shameless, the redhead.
Oh, Cameron Monaghan.
Please, I don't even know it at all, so that could be completely right. Mike's gonna do a quick search. So the redhead that played the Riddler in Gotham, I thought he did a fantastic job. I feel like his inspiration was from a little bit of, he probably went back and watched that movie.
For sure.
And
I
maybe
think
I'm trying to think what other Jokers he
there's
had.
just
Probably
so
the
many-
animated series.
There's so many
Yeah.
iterations of it. Like,
And he had those different components of a little bit of that. Because think about Ledger's Joker. And then think about the scale of that to where they went to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
and Caesar Romero or whatever he was in the back in the day Joker.
that's
Oh,
Adam West's Joker.
Adam
That's
West.
the Adam
Joker.
West
He was
Joker.
just animated and stuff, but he still had the qualities a little bit of Jack. And then, I mean, every Joker it seems to get a little more hectic and chaotic.
Well,
and, I mean,
it
that's what we're
does.
turning.
It does, but it
Yeah.
goes right in line with what we were already talking about. I don't think it's any coincidence. It goes from like animated to like more that gritty, that dark, and also more humanizing component of like feeling what like the Joker's going through. That's what the Joaquin Phoenix Joker's all
Oh
about.
yeah.
Whereas like no part of you when you watch this is like, oh, I get this Nicholson guy. Because he's like he is just spouting nonsense throughout the movie. Like lines that have nothing to do with anything and also are probably like too smart for like the average person to pick up on.
There's so many good lines in there.
I wish I had. We should have just the list.
At least 6 times during the movie, I looked at my wife and I said, "This is my favorite. This is my favorite scene." I just kept looking over. I was like, "This is my favorite scene."
There were a few times where I would go, "Oh, this is a big part right here."
I know it came out.
And she's just laying there on her phone, not paying any attention. I'm like, "Oh yeah, just so you know, this is my favorite part, number 5."
She's like, "I know you like the movie."
Yeah.
I like the Joker. What happens with Vicky Vale? Someone walk me through like exactly what happens with her in the movie and like where it lands.
You know, I was thinking just as a kid, like I never was like, "Oh man, she's really attractive." But like I watched it Saturday and I was like,
That's the hottest woman I've ever seen.
"Well, I don't know
I'm
about
just
that," but
I
I was just like,
just playing
was like,
opposites.
okay.
Playing opposites.
Alec Baldwin's
"She's hot."
ex-wife.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I ever thought that of how many times I've seen the movie. I don't know why. Maybe just
All right.
I don't know. She's
Well,
but to
spoiler alert.
Answer your question.
Spoiler alert: she's not.
Answer your question. That was one of my 5 favorite scenes when he asks how much she weighs, and then hands her the little grappling hook thing.
She's like
And
108.
she flies up. Yep, she flies up and holding on. First off, if someone gave me that, I'm definitely about to just fall down and die.
Oh,
But she just holds on and just goes up 100 feet in the air, and then next time he sees her, he's like, "You sure about that 108?" Like, damn.
Like you can't put that
Straight,
in a movie now.
just shaming.
yeah, we talked about that. You know what our first thought was? Batman would never have to ask in the heat of the moment what the weight is.
Yeah.
He's already seen how much you weigh. He already knows what the grapple can do. He was just being smart.
Yeah.
That scene's crazy. He shoots her up, and then he's like, "All right, now hold on to it. I'm gonna let go." And she goes, "Okay." And like as soon as she puts her hands on it, like he like detaches it, and I was like, I would have absolutely messed that up.
I'd be dead. I'd be on the ground, laying on all those heads of lettuce that are just all over the street. Man, what a great! God, I love that movie.
So I don't know if this is true. I don't want to interrupt you, but I was kind of looking
No,
at
this is
I was
we're
looking
all
at
over the board here. We're not following any.
I was
map.
looking up the Vicky Vale thing because I thought she was good. Like that's a good love interest. I mean, she's been in the comics and all that stuff, but it says like in early drafts of Batman Returns, she was going to be in it, but then it says Tim Burton doesn't like making sequels, so he kind of wanted a whole new movie, so they excluded her.
That's dumb.
That's messed up because why is the story is all around Batman? Like anyway,
It's like anti what's going on now. Now everything is connected. All the movies are together. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna make a movie in the same universe, but it's gonna be different.
That being said, from a filming style perspective, I understand that like having like no sequels is a choice. Like I get that. Like you want every film to stand on its own 2 feet, but you know where I stand. I want them all to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me in this movie something that I know about a movie I've seen elsewhere or that I'll see in the future. But I can respect it. You know, he just wanted Batman Returns, but it's called Batman Returns.
Right. The vibes of the Gotham City were even different between the two movies. Like
They were.
clearly were not. They clearly were not the same place.
You're right.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I've probably seen Batman Returns. Like
What's your?
maybe 100.
I mean, you're the subject matter expert here. I feel like how many times have you seen it, Mike?
I mean,
I guess
I've
it's hard
seen it 50 times, probably, like
Yeah.
something like that.
See, I've probably only seen it
I had
10 times.
the VHS, and that baby just got probably started melting in the VCR.
All right. Well, Andy, what's your favorite part?
My favorite scene, legit, is the one where they're in the art gallery and the Joker shows up and they start painting on all the
Oh, with the
The art.
song.
Not this one.
yeah
I like it.
yeah. The Prince song is playing. I mean, obviously the whole soundtrack is Prince.
He's like knocking over stuff.
R.I.P. Prince.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just. I love that scene. I mean, even though Batman
Even-
isn't in it till the very end.
Even the bad guys are like, boo.
Yeah.
That's a banger though. That's fun.
Yeah.
And they're like hand painting,
Yeah.
and I'm like they're dancing so hard with those guns. They're like,
I even noticed like there's one huge mistake in it where they show like somebody paint on one of the paintings,
And then it's-
like someone's face, and then you see it in the next scene, and there's no paint on it, and then you see it again, and there's paint on it, and I'm like,
probably had 100 of them.
it's like, oh, that's how I know I've seen this movie 1,000 times.
Yeah. I'm noticing too much.
I need to get out of the house.
It's like, wait a minute, his hair is a little bit left here. What's your? I mean, tell us all your favorite scenes.
Big fan of the scene where he drives the Batmobile into the chemical plant, and then he drops the little bombs off of the side of it, and they just kind of make that little ding, ding, ding sound,
Mhm.
and then it's just like silence, and then whoosh, then it just goes straight into like just the dope ass soundtrack from there, and
I was gonna say that was exactly where I was gonna go next. The score.
Love it.
yeah,
That Prince song when they're throwing out the money and the gas is going everywhere.
yeah.
Oh, the
That's-
soundtrack. Yeah.
I was trying to think of when I watching that scene, I was like, I want to like.
Like,
First
listen
off,
to it.
having that many people around each other is not going to happen anytime soon. But like even without COVID, that would be a hilarious thing. Just somebody downtown St. Louis dropping $100 bills. It would be wild.
You know what that song reminds me of?
Hmm.
Powerline. Like
From
it has that kind
a
of beat.
Goofy
Bum,
movie.
Bum,
Oh, I
bum,
know
bum, bum,
exactly
bum.
what you're
and
talking
like
about.
that kind of song, like doom, doom, doom. Like
Goofy
it's there,
movie.
like
Sometimes.
Wow.
Understand.
One of my buddies in college used to watch that movie with girls to try to like
Oh, it's
show him he could be I don't know.
That's what
One of my buddies in college used to watch that movie all the time and just try to
Oh.
get
It's-
girls.
I loved that movie so
Yeah,
much that
he's a
in high school, me and this girl did performed at like the halftime of something like a talent show, and it was like to the song
Yeah,
"Stand Out."
Yeah.
Like stand out.
Yes.
Above
He's also gonna kill me when he listens to this, but sorry, Sean.
Oh,
Here we go.
names.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's a good film though.
I think one of my favorite scenes is just that opening scene. The mugging happens. They're sitting on top of the roof. You're like, man, I don't want to be up here. And they're like, oh, why do I want to be up here? It's like the bat.
The Bat.
And then he shows up and like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
Like
Here we
from
go.
from the get go, you go. This is a Batman movie.
Yeah.
The only thing, and maybe this is a symbolism. You guys tell me. Like Carrie knows, she loves Batman. She's watching. She's like, okay, so these are his parents. That's him, because it opens with that family. I mean, it's symbolism, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's
He's
a
protecting-
foreshadowing and a nod to like, yes, this is a Batman story.
He's protecting them.
And
How cool!
I think this movie
So cool.
did one of the best jobs of like being real and like believable. Like I don't know, like Christian Bale stuff, like the big tank and stuff like that. Like that's
Yeah,
just
it got crazy.
craziness. Like nothing in this movie really happened that's like couldn't happen right now.
Hmm
Like
But it's still a
he-
comic.
he's
book
just
movie.
he's
Oh, very much so.
And, like,
Batman doesn't have superpowers. The Joker, like
he's just an old
he's
mobster
just-
that has a
yeah.
facial deformity.
he's just a criminal, like a mob, like he's just a mob boss. And now he fell in a vat of chemicals and
Yeah, like he was
brought himself to
already.
the top.
That's what's interesting about this take on Jack. What's his last?
Jack Napier.
He's like a successful business person.
Well, I mean, he was in the mob kind of thing.
But he
like,
was in the
in
mob.
underground. He was like a number 2 to that guy, whoever was the leader. But he was
Yeah.
banging his wife. And so the guy tried to have him killed in Axe Chemicals, or he called the raid or something like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys are here. This is what I needed, like to help take me back.
But then
through
he
those.
survived, and then he went through and kind of took over his empire and
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
and he killed
his parents.
his parents.
Yeah. Well, Jack makes some mistakes when he was younger, huh? And then,
Yeah.
ties it all back.
This is probably, especially for you guys that have seen it so much, but for like a person that's maybe thinking about it for the first time, it seemed like there were so many direct ties and nods to this movie, the '89 film, in the Nolan films. I would watch this and I would think, holy cow, this is like exactly first of all, the Harvey Dent storyline. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same. It opens up with him having a press conference, which we don't see him become Two-Face, right?
No.
No, you don't. That never happens until Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah.
Um, jumping all over the place, but like at the end when he's fighting Joker and like they're hanging and it's like a big hang scene off the building, like that's exactly different circumstances, different.
Yeah.
Is that like is that a known? This is known to Batman fans.
I would say
assume.
that's a
Yeah.
nod.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I
not
think
like
you
because
just
like
notice
me,
those
I
type
was
of
like,
things.
"Whoa, this is cool," but I was like, "Oh man, I bet like diehard Batman fans have known this forever."
Yeah, and it's kind of the same, not exact storyline, but they're terrorizing the whole city, putting the whole city at risk, both Jokers, and then it becomes a one-on-one fight, basically at the end. And
So great. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Comes down to you two.
but again, the kid in me likes this one a lot.
Yeah,
just
that's-
because it's Batman to me. The Batmobile is sweet.
Yeah, we're gonna pull some images up too.
The Batcave is my Batcave. I don't want this Christopher Nolan like real Batcave stuff. Like, oh, now the manor burned down. No, I want a sweet Batcave.
Well, and you had sent me
A
some
real cave.
images of the toys.
Yeah. Oh, the toys were insane. Like
You got that Batmobile,
Batmobile
the
tent.
big.
It was a Batmobile tent, so I slept in it.
Yep.
And it was just the Wayne Manor was like a briefcase that you carry, and then it opened up, and one part was the Batcave, one part was the manor, and then you put Bruce Wayne in one of the things and turn him around, and then he's Batman. Like that stuff is awesome.
I never had that one. My parents didn't like me, I guess.
Did you have the Bat? It was your favorite movie, and they would like that was the one toy.
That's
they
what
would-
I'm just thinking.
They're
What the
like he's
hell,
having
Mom and
nightmares
Dad?
just watching. What do you think's gonna happen if he's playing?
They're like, if we buy you these toys, are you gonna be
Oh,
giggling more?
I was Batman like every year for Halloween. So
Different, same outfit.
I
or-
just never got to kill the Joker.
And you did it.
I did. I bit that bastard's finger right off.
We're gonna have to dress up. We'll have to do something for. I mean, Halloween's coming up.
Watch your fingers.
Kids, watch your fingers.
No, just kidding. I'll be wearing a mask, so I won't be able to bite anyone.
But I think this still holds up.
It does. It proved to me Saturday. I was.
The only thing I thought was kind of like really was the gunshots. Pew, pew, pop. Like those were the only.
Carrie's
thing.
gonna love this episode. That's exactly what she said.
That's
She's like,
it.
this. She goes, this movie's very pew pew pew.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what kind of gun are they shooting?
It's like those that are shooting like blasters from Star Wars.
It's kind of like in this movie, they're like, all right, yeah, we're really gonna
Yeah.
amp up the guns. And then in the movie, the trailer we just watched of Batman with Pattinson, his punches were like, oh, we're gonna amp up the punches in this one. like what are we amping up next one?
We're gonna amp up this time.
Yeah.
Trying to think, is there anything else that I know? There's more.
I mean, there's just so many like little things about this film.
Yeah, let's talk about
so-
let's talk about it.
Jack Nicholson, he got paid. He took a weird deal to do this movie. And I reread about it. My dad told me this when it happened. Well, not when it happened in '89. I don't remember that.
Hey, son.
I almost spewed my beer.
Putting you to sleep tonight, just
He's
so to
like-
let you know about the latest in superhero news.
He's
So you can talk about it in a podcast. And
rocking
30
your
years.
crib,
You want to know about some money figures for Batman '89?
son. You're not gonna believe what happened with Jack Nicholson today.
But he took like $10 million to do this. Okay, a big chunk
What-
of change.
Okay,
To play the
that's
Joker.
in 1989. Okay,
But he was the biggest movie star in the world.
right.
But what he did was he signed a deal. He got a percentage of all the merchandise and all the things this sold. He made $100 million for this movie.
Oh,
And
genius.
then his best friend is Danny DeVito because they were in one
Jealous.
because they were in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest together.
Oh my gosh.
So when Danny DeVito signed, this is what my dad used to tell me. When Danny DeVito signed on to do Batman Returns, he's like, "Did you get the deal?" He didn't, but
right. Did you get the deal?
yeah.
Jack.
So that's
Amazing.
crazy. Right
Well,
there.
and then obviously, I saw that DeVito today. Just so you guys know, I know we're gonna talk about it later, but it's hard for me not to just talk about
Dude,
all of it.
so cool.
Well, I just want to know: are we going to see in the Flash movie?
Yeah, we have to talk about
Are
that.
we going to see him wearing this suit?
I love that yellow too.
Please, God.
that bat symbol is the bat symbol that it was on the toys. It was on your shirt you wore. It was on the ride.
It's on your shirt now.
It's right there.
I used to bite my pancakes to try to look like that every single time I ate pancakes. Every time. I even did it last week. This is not a lie either.
You're at McDonald's.
I was
You're like,
just like-
sitting there, look at this guy eating his hotcakes and sausage.
No, I made these
Because you bite the
at home.
wings.
You know, I was just like, all right.
The only thing is, look at his neck in that picture, man. He can't turn that thing. He
And-
can't turn that at all.
Well, even that, like Christian Bale in the original, in the Dark Knight, or in Batman Begins, he says he's like, oh, you want to turn your neck, or is it Dark Knight Rise? It's
I don't know. It's one of
It was
them.
the
It's the
second one, yeah, because it's the very beginning.
It's the very beginning. It's the very beginning of the. I almost forgot for a second I was on a podcast. I was like leaning in to tell you I was so excited. Yeah, he says, you want to turn your neck. So like even that, I was like,
Yeah.
that's a nod. That's like there's a callback.
Yeah.
There's more too. There's more things that I'm really wishing I could think of that like directly happened in those movies where I'm like, that's not a coincidence. And like also though, it's the same source material.
Mhm.
So I have to remember that. That's right. Like when did Batman originate?
Yeah.
Like 20s. Like it comes from the same story, so they tell it in different lights. You're gonna see a lot of parallels across films. All right, let's talk about what else. We just don't know enough about this Flash movie to know what kind of role he's going to play and how involved he's going to be in the film. Like, is he going to be in it for 10 minutes? Is he going to be in it for an hour? We don't know.
I hope the longer the better. I think it'll be
A major character, like if he has to like do shit.
I have theories that this is just the
Well, we
tip
just
of
tell
the
me.
iceberg.
We tell me later.
On a pod.
Tell me now.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
I
saying.
have theories.
I'm like, now's the time.
that just Keaton is the tip of the iceberg of Batman appearance. I think every Batman that's ever played it is going to be in the Flash movie.
Do you think that because of how amazing like the Crisis on Infinite Earths went?
Yeah.
And then they're like
Sort of.
they're going down like someone's going down this road.
I think all it takes is money to make those people agree. Whatever. How many are there? I mean,
you'd exclude it.
they already got a couple.
They already
yeah.
have 2 confirmed.
Affleck.
and Keaton.
Yeah.
So you get Bale, and you're good to go in my
Bale,
book.
Val Kilmer, George Clooney. I guarantee they can make it happen. All it takes is money.
If you're asked
For like a 10-second scene, just all of them, even if it's 10 seconds, it's something people will talk about and people will go to see the movie for.
I would.
Then maybe we're on the edge. I think
that's what I was going to say,
it's gonna
Mike.
happen.
Like let's just tell you right now, Warner Brothers and everyone out there, we want it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Clooney,
think it's
hey
just
George Clooney, if you are watching this, I bet he's a big fan of the show. We want you to
and
come
you
back.
could totally redeem yourself.
Does
yeah.
he get? What about nipples?
Oh, he's got nipples. I have nipples, Greg. Can you help me?
Bat nipples were weird.
That's
Yeah.
my theory. I could be totally wrong, but I or maybe it's not just a theory. It's just maybe it's just a hope. But I'd love for that to happen, just in some capacity, similar to the Crisis. Most people don't even know what the Crisis was.
They
but
don't. They really don't.
There's
And-
just
and-
it's just ultimate fan service. Just
Yeah, exactly. It's literally people. It took TV makers and movie makers generations to learn this. That like there's a reason comic books are so successful and they have such a cult following. And it's because no matter what issue you picked up for Marvel, you could like go talk to your friend and he'd be like, "Oh, I know about that. I know about the Human Torch. You know, he was in this issue of this." It's like it's something that just took so long to catch on. The more, the better.
I agree.
Like you could argue that like, Crisis went overkill, but like this is when I was going to really nerd out earlier. I don't know if I ever got there. They brought in Tom Welling, Clark Kent. Did we already talk about that?
You mentioned
You were
kind of
gonna get
around
there,
it.
but
Well,
I think we got
that
sidetracked.
was huge. Like it was like huge. They brought back after 10 years of being off the air. They bring back Tom Welling to be a Superman on another Earth. Lex Luthor from
Yeah.
Supergirl jumped over there. He's on this killing spree of Superman. We went on like the Brandon Ruth route. That's why we
Yeah,
got off
my
on that.
bad. I
You're just
started
like,
that.
It's okay.
Fork in the road, you went one way.
And yeah, I'm telling you, they're on the Kent farm. They got Erica Drance playing Lois Lane, that like she did, and it was just a special moment. So like after we've seen stuff like this here recently. Plus we saw Ezra Miller literally on the Flash. So Right, that was insane. You see
My
two
mind's
flashes
blown.
on TV. I was like, what am I looking at? I go, that's the flash from the movie. I'm watching TV.
The smaller movie screen.
I'm watching a little movie. So yeah, dude, why not?
I think, yeah, I hope so. I definitely think that Michael Keaton will have a pretty big part in the movie.
Yeah, make him a
Some
staple in
capacity.
the films. Like, give him.
Yeah.
Now,
It'd just be weird.
I'm pretty
but
sure they've said, quote me, don't quote me. I don't care. I think I read it that he did sign a multi-film deal.
I think I read that too.
That might be
And
worth a quick Google,
That's
Mike.
what with the Flash, like anything can happen. Like time travel.
Well, that
There's nothing.
there was news this week on the Flash too. I think it came from DC Fandom, and maybe it might be a little bit old, but still, they released it that this film is going to be somewhat of a reset
Okay, I read that
because
too.
they're doing a Flashpoint storyline.
I just don't know exactly what that means, and no one does. But
Well, because how could you? The only thing that I know is for certain is there's a 4-part movie of Justice League coming out on HBO, and it's the same universe. So, deductive reasoning could like tell me that is he going to time travel and erase the events of this multi-million-dollar film they're about to put onto HBO? I can't imagine. So, maybe.
But the reset might include replacement of characters that aren't gonna be in it long term, like Ben Affleck, potentially,
Mhm.
or Henry Cavill. Who knows? I don't know if they're gonna be long term or not. But
They will.
I guess
They
every
need
It's
to.
like you say, if the dollar
Every-
signs are there.
every single person like in that cast has like question marks. Like
Yeah,
Ray
they
Fisher
do.
was the only one that didn't, and now he has been treated like garbage supposedly. And now Aquaman agrees with them. Wonder Woman we just talked about, she might be on her way out too. I hope not to all of them, but the moolah might keep them all together. Who knows? It could be the Snyder Cut. If that's successful, maybe they'll just say, "Hey guys, ignore that Justice League movie that was released a few years ago. This is your
canon.
your movie."
Interesting, man. Yeah, it's like what? Who knows?
I can't
Either
wait.
way, what a time.
Yes.
Because this is stuff that we would like talk about in high school.
Mhm.
Me and Will would talk about, us three even, like a Flash movie, Superman movie, all these rumors of things that would maybe happen. There was even a rumor of a Smallville movie for a minute. And I was like, fine. I was like, even as the,
Take my money.
yeah, please. It's happening though. Like as adults, like this is awesome. And what a time for kids too, because now like, I'm not a dad. For any dads our age though, you can't be
Pop this thing on.
yeah.
Watch out for nightmares, but
Hey, bite those fingers. But like seriously, like if you're a dad right now, like just put on superhero stuff.
yeah, it's so awesome.
It's perfect.
So awesome.
I
I think it would be cool. I know we talked about it earlier, one episode to like rank the Batmans, rank the movies, like do something like that. Because this one, after rewatching it, it's hard not to put in the top
and then
3.
how do you think we do that? Do you think we do it like we put it on the table and then it's like a vote, or is it like a discussion and you get like 2 minutes allotted or something?
Like a forum.
I think
Because
it's
like
gotta
how
be
would
a
you? Because
forum.
you got to go through a bracket, right? We can make like a
We
physical
need like
bracket.
a visual for people to see.
Yeah, do a visual, but then like to move it along,
We could.
we could figure out a system based on how many movies we select. We do like a pool of like what do you say, like 20 movies, 30 movies. We could come up with a system of like let's escalate these to the top and do there's plenty of podcasts and shows out there do this. We'll see what they've done and just kind of
Yeah,
do something similar.
Because there's 3 of us. If we do a voting, there can never be a tie.
And there's draft. I mean, some do drafts, some just do a top 5. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff we could do.
Okay, so what do we talk? As I know we're wrapping this up, but what are we gonna? We've talked about a few things we're gonna try from this episode. We're definitely gonna get a Star Wars episode coming up. So before we dive into all this, anything else on Batman?
If it's been a while since you've seen it, go to HBO Max and go watch it.
It's just sitting there waiting on you.
Yeah, I mean it holds up.
It does.
It's fun. It's a superhero movie, how it should be.
It's a Batman movie for sure. It's funny because it probably had like maybe scrutiny.
I think it did. Like he fought to get this done.
And then you go and watch it now in 2020 and you're like, you were on our. You're doing this right.
I mean, it has more quotes than almost, and probably than any other Batman movie. Like, where does he get all these wonderful toys and Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight, all that stuff?
Oh,
is
one of
just
the
awesome.
best. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
Let's get nuts. And he's got the fire
And then-
poker.
all right, boom.
Iconic.
That was one of my favorite scenes. I don't know if I told you guys.
Number 4.
But yeah, I'm excited for next couple weeks. But we got a lot of stuff to kind of
Yeah.
get into and different. Start getting segments, stuff like that.
I've been telling them on social media a lot through my Instagram account, but DC, thanks.
Yeah.
We're here for it. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we just, especially now, it's nice to have like this stuff to look forward to.
For sure. We're talking about distant future, a few years from now, and also talking about a movie that happened 31 years ago.
Yeah, kudos to the people on that team. Can you imagine working on that movie? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Andy, any final thoughts on your favorite film of all time?
I think I've said everything I can.
When are you going to watch it again?
Probably next time it's on TV, for sure. Like, that's
Every
the thing.
day.
Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, if they're on TV anytime, I'm stopping watching it. Same kind of for this. Batman Begins,
Mhm.
maybe just if there's really nothing else on.
Yeah,
But-
and then if it's on, like, you're definitely like in another place.
Yeah. But this is a great effing movie.
Mike, it's also your favorite character. Anything else?
I mean, like I said, if you haven't seen this in a while, watch it. Batman Returns, I think we're going to watch pretty soon and kind of talk about. Is Batman Returns one of the greatest Christmas films of all time? The answer is yes.
2000% yes. Just a little, we'll just tease it out in case you don't remember. Christopher Walken, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sam
Nice.
Alfred.
Same Alfred. Yeah.
Whatever that guy's name is.
Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah.
It's probably his real name. We're definitely going to talk. We'll just talk about him the next time you guys are here. So let's just plan on that. All right. Thank you, Batman. We're always going to be Batman news on here. Things to look forward to as we wrap it up. We're going to do some kind of competition of movies in the near future where we do a bracket. You've seen these happen. We're going to definitely do it and learn from people that have done it before us, but we're going to put our own twist on it for sure. It's going to be fun. So it'll be original.
And we'll talk about it, but
Just too early.
behind the scenes. talk
Yes.
about it. They don't
We'll
wanna
plan
hear
it.
us. They
No,
don't
no.
wanna
We'll
hear us.
plan it outside of this.
I'm down.
Star Wars, you said.
We're going to do it. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Help me remember. So my memory's so spotty, but I thank God I record these.
Maybe some more wrestling.
Wrestling. I'd like to get like updates on it. Maybe next time we get like an update from you guys. You guys can double team it.
We found a tag team would be the correct term.
Sorry. No, I'm not a professional.
I mean, we found a way to sneak wrestling into this conversation today. So my goal is just to bring it up every single episode
That's
in
fine.
some obscure way.
I'll give you a slide if you give me some stuff. Star Wars for sure. Jake, if you're listening, love to have you on for it.
Keep watch on MCU stuff because we don't know when movies are coming out, when shows are coming out. I'm sure Mandalorian deep dives you'll do. I know that goes under Star Wars.
Yep.
Have you done a Mandalorian like season 1 recap type thing?
No, that's coming. There will definitely be that before season 2 of The Mandalorian drops. You can count on that. I can tell you that. So
Beautiful.
that's in your near future. So that'll be just so you know if you know how these watches go. But it's like I just break down exactly what's happening, and I'll try to give you some behind the like a little bit of insight. Sometimes I can tell like this scene is really what they're telling. They want you to know this. You know, that's what I try to help you with, and it's also just fun for me to talk about.
For sure.
All right, and then of course the boys. They're dropping episodes weekly. Next episode's episode 5 coming out this Friday on the 18th. Probably do another live watch after I've watched it for my own viewing pleasure.
How many episodes are in the season for that?
I don't know if they've clarified, but
Yeah.
Amazon has the placeholders.
Yeah, was it 8 the first season? 8 the first season, I
Okay.
believe.
But they dropped 3, and then now it's week. So is it 3? Is it 8 total? I don't know.
I don't know.
So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming back in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys don't hate it.
No, anytime. Anytime.
Well, then we'll be back in here as soon as you as soon as we can. Be a lot of content in between. Go check us out at mostlysuperheroes.com. All the social pages. Like we said, we're at the point now where we are ready to hear from people. I think it's been kind of a guessing game of what these episodes could look like, and now we're starting to see they just come together from what we enjoy talking about. So I want to hear what you like talking about, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or at the website. Again, mostlysuperheroes.com. Go check it out, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Peace.